actually AC that just gets completely deleted, but Ari's gonna go down. It's an A-trap! The beat doesn't go off. Alright, window doesn't get wall. Both come up with a counter, but Booty's better to connect first.
Close to this Rampage has it online. Unleash it. It's a whole team hit here. Flip-flop runs it into their own, but Yoda lights up the kill feed. Yoda has just clutched this out for the team. 1 HP trying to get the heal from there. Artbus is not enough. Corey on point. Can he do it? Jevin's Corey is not enough! What a play! What a finish! Menyazavu champion! The Slaughters have won the Booty Bowl!
Oh,
And hello,
can't hear
everybody.
Bunny. Hold on.
Welcome back to the Overwatch Clash Season 7. We're finally here. The draft is now upon us. Starting up here in the next few minutes, but joining us on the desk is going to be Commissioner RiddleDog on his birthday, of course. So make sure wish happy birthday
Yes, sir.
in the chat. Topaz and WYND down under in Mankato. How are you guys feeling coming in now? The draft is here. Season 7 officially starting. It feels like it's been a hell of a long time, but I think the hype is here for just about everybody.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, we've been working at this for a while. It's coming like right after the 6v6 tourney pretty much, which filled the space, but yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens. I already got picked up, so there's no question about that. I don't have to worry about it. I didn't get picked up on my birthday. It's kind of messed up, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah,
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I decided to APS is here, so seeing how that works, and I'm also just excited to see how the snake draft works. And I guess it's a modified snake draft, but should be interesting. I like all the team names. Very excited for this season.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'm just testing my microphone here because people tell me it's quiet. Hopefully, it's a little better. I'm turning up all my settings here, but okay, you can continue. Apologies.
Yeah, going in this, I'm really excited to see how Season 7, especially how the draft is going to shape up, because I have some info from some people who are going to be doing some fun things with this draft, and I'm really interested to see if they follow through with what they've sent me or whatnot, and I'm really interested to see how this first round draft, especially to see how teams are trying to go and see where they're trying to get sinks potentially, or where they're trying to get carries, or if they're trying to go for flat teams. I think it's going to be pretty interesting looking across the board.
And that's kind of the biggest thing
Yeah,
that a lot of
definitely.
people are noticing here as well, with the decreased SR cap, of course, being a thing we got to work around, but also many of the length or the lack of like actual high tank players. I think it's been a big talking point with a lot of captains here. So do you think people are going to look at potentially that flex position, or do you think go tank early, save tank for later? What is the kind of the lack of tank going to do to this draft here for all you guys think?
Tanks go out first for sure. Like, there's no way that the first 2 rounds don't pick up like, I don't know, 75% of the tank players. After that, it's probably just high-rated players, but I think tanks will be going out first easily.
And of course, I mean, our first pick is going to be Pokemon Guy or Toon Carter here for the Izanagi's going him in. So, you know, I think probably him and War benefit the most from the decrease in the SR cap. We originally had 3,500, but it was brought down to 3,450. So benefiting a lot by being kind of that lower SR player, having the pick of every single person here with a modified snake, of course, having the ability to take the first 2 picks in the second round as well. So do we see maybe a shake up in the meta? I think I kind of know who's going the first 4, but I think a lot of people have a pretty damn good idea, but we'll have to wait and see how the cards actually drop. If you were Pokemon Guy, if you guys were captains, I know Topaz, you're thinking about it. WYND, you probably weren't thinking about it. Don't talk to me or RiddleDog. We kind of suck at the whole drafting thing, so we won't give any real opinions on how to pick players, but where would you guys kind of lean this first pick if you had the choice of everybody in the league?
I mean, personally, currently looking at the first like 6 picks, none of them are really tank players that I'm pretty sure checking. His Pokemon Guy is on the DPS role. Seikana is on support. Flambo Jambo, I believe, is
Flex.
on
I mean,
flex.
yeah.
Especially how you're saying with like, there's not a really high amount of tank players. I think it's mainly going to be looking at either tanks, or it's going to be looking for maybe I don't know, supports if for like Pokemon guy if he's queuing DPS, which I'm pretty sure I've heard a leak of too about who he's probably going to be picking up. Well, I feel like it's honestly probably going to be tanks, like how Topaz was saying a little earlier.
According to my insider sources, we're not going to see a tank go probably at least until middle of the round here, maybe like a pick 5. But the first 4
Yeah.
I've heard from my sources, I'm not hearing tank at all. I'm actually hearing quite different things. But of course, this could be the captain's gaslighting the insider reporter. Who really knows? So I guess I'll give you guys that. If it's not going to be a tank, do you pick, say, somebody else, or what role do you want to focus on? If you're Pokemon guy with that DPS, do you lock in, a great DPS duo for you to pair with, or do you go for the support to try to keep the team alive in the front line?
Personally, I'm a big fan of flex support carry or like DPS carry, like a flex DPS carry. So probably one of those two. I think no reason to like hit scan isn't as important. Same with main support, in my opinion. So yeah, as a main support player, that's my opinion. But I would pick up a flex support player or the highest rated DPS player. That's what I would do.
Yeah, well, it's kind of just...
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to give the captains the go-ahead, Riddle. I think we're pretty close to getting ready. Maybe we're waiting for somebody to still join the chat or not. Looks like the war room not quite full just yet. Of course, you give the captains an extra 15 minutes of warning, and they still don't show up on time, but we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, I know some of them are going to be bouncing around. I know War was said at least he was going to be in like a whole bunch of different chats and talking to people. I assume that's why we don't see like Jack and like Toon Carter in there as well. So that's my guess at least.
I guess I'll post another question here. We'll start with Topaz for the response on this one. If you were somebody like a Poi, a Neptune, a Corey, these high captains beginning here with such a low SR cap average, where do you look to take the players to potentially take your SR down? Do you try to take a really good player early, trying to work on the sync now, or do you kind of build maybe like an average team kind of throughout the entire draft rather than sweat and hoping the sync is still going to be there at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think both are pretty valid. What I did for the 66 draft, I mean, not that I'm the highest rated player, but like I tried to go for a more even team, and I really like that. But I think that's obviously when you're a high rated player like Neptune or somebody, that's kind of impossible to do. So I would go for I don't know exactly the number would be specifically, but somewhere around like 3,700 range. Pick that up. You be like your second guy, like you're almost like a co-captain sort of thing. That you can rely on, and then build your team off of that afterwards.
WYND, how would you lean in the draft? Let's say you are captain as you are right now, being like a 4,000 player in a 3,400 average league. Where would you lean? Do you pick that sync up early, try to get like the best one, or do you look for building an average team? Want to pick another carry with you? How you leaning?
I don't know. Personally, for me at least, looking at what roles the captains are kind of signed up on, there is a kind of a lack of high SR DPS players currently. I think there's only one that was rated at GM, and then 2 others that are 3950, pretty much at the border there. I think it honestly could be looking at maybe like a 3,600 hit scan or 3,550. It looks like. I think getting a hit scan player or a flex DPS player right now pretty early on if you're the higher SR, especially because there's a very limited pool on those SR hit scan players because there's just not as many more on the upper end. I feel like going for a DPS player would be pretty nice for them because then they don't have to worry about getting it later on.
I've noticed that as well, kind of looking through their sheet, doing some mocks, talking to the captains, there's like a lot of the DPS in that 3,500 to 3,600 range. Like you can get one almost every round if you want. There's a lot of them hanging out there, but those real true carries on the roll are very limited here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them go quite quick here at the beginning. Okay, so it looks like captains are waiting to get permissions to draft picks. So I blame the commissioner on that one for not having that ready to go. But
hey, I'm making sure that no one was able to type in after the freaking like pick 0 from Panini, and I was busy because my thing was crashing. And
and it's his birthday. You can't be.
I mean, I guess we can do this.
Ooh.
With the 0th pick in the Heroic Overwatch Clash Season 7 draft, the Swagasaur squad will pick up RiddleDog Flex. So, getting a good solid player on RiddleDog. I believe it did move Panini down a few spots in the draft, though. Panini originally was going to play switch over to manager. I think Panini was in that 4 slots before the swap.
Something like that. Yeah.
Because I think
he was like, yeah, he
I
was
think
fourth.
Flambeau was a little lower on the main roll, something like that. That we figured out that tiebreaker. But yeah, moving down now to somewhere in the middle of the round. So, but starting off with RiddleDog, really good flex player, able to play DPS in the tank at a kind of a mid diamond level for both roles, I believe. So, Topaz, WYND, thoughts on starting your team with a RiddleDog? Never a bad idea. We'll go with WYND first.
I mean, I think the go ahead.
Yeah, it's my turn. Anyways, I think that going with RiddleDog here as your first pick, especially when you're a manager, is going to be pretty nice because you just kind of have the flexibility that you want to go between the roles. It's kind of like a slightly above average SR, if I'm correct.
I'm 3350.
So the average
halfway.
SR.
Yeah, just about.
I'm sorry.
Just about.
Just about the average SR, which really lets Panini do whatever he wants. He can still look for a higher SR or lower SR on either end. He can kind of still do his own thing, and other captains can't really like read what he's kind of doing right now because he's just at the middle point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't. No offense to you, but I'm just like surprised he didn't pick up like a Kua or.
We don't allow that. We don't allow that.
Oh.
Allow someone who's like
Gotcha.
Diamond or Masters.
Oh, God. Well, then I think you make a lot of sense then. About as high as you can. Yeah, especially you being a flex player. Like, I think flexibility with a 6-man roster is so important since everyone has to play. It allows you to obviously go between roles, and like WYND was saying, like he's just so much more flexible with who we can pick up afterwards now.
And with that being said, draft picks has been opened up, and we have our first pick. So that being said, with the first overall pick in the Overwatch Clash Season 7 draft, we are going to see Mardox going the way of the Izaganis, or Ishikawa Izaganis, something like that. Sorry about that. But yeah, taking Mardox, they're going to go for that support role, for the main role. But all around, just a great player, over SR coverage on every role. So very flexible as well. Thoughts on our first pick here? Of course, Mardox had a great rookie season last year on the Purple Apes. Topaz as a support player yourself, seeing that Juno play for Mardox, almost carrying the Purple Apes in some matches. Just some thoughts on this very solid first pick.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, Mardox is absolutely insane on support. He also has a good tank and DPS. I know he has a good tank. I don't know about his DPS, honestly, but 3600 is nothing to scoff at, like you said. And as far as I'm aware, he's also incredibly flexible on the support role. More of a flex support player, but he can play them all. And like I was saying earlier, as a main support player, like I think that flex support is so much more important, especially to get a higher SR rated player. So yeah, very reasonable first pickup. I mean, 5 obviously.
WYND, do you have any opinions on this one? Or we do have our second pick in as well, so you can start a discussion on that one if you'd like once I announce it here. Kind of give you the option.
I'll talk a small little bit. I won't go too long, but I think most people are kind of knowing that Pokemon Guy was going to pick up Mardox, or at least I was, because he's kind of the first pick. He kind of gets whatever he wants to do. So yeah, I was kind of expecting him to get Mardox this first round.
Yeah, I think
Running
everybody.
it back from the Purple Apes.
I think everybody kind of had that one down. Mardox, our Pokemon Guy, wasn't very discreet about his options. I mean, he had first overall pick, so you can't steal it from him whatsoever. But yeah, we do have another pick in here. So here we go. With the second overall pick in the Overwatch Clash Season 7 draft, the Somalian Silly Geese are going to select Akua on the flex. I think this is kind of where a lot of people were thrown off a little bit in the draft in terms of talking to captains and mocks. They didn't quite see Akua going this high because of potentially just the not wanting to exactly try hard this season, kind of just chill out with some boys. But it's like kind of trading on up to get this one person Somalian Silly Geese. Of course, Akua, GM on all roles, another great starting player. WYND, what are your thoughts here on Akua going number 2 in the draft?
I think it's pretty interesting, but I don't think it's a bad idea whatsoever, especially because he's GM on all roles. I've played with him a couple times, you know, as I've rang for their team once or twice in Season 6. So I kind of see how he plays, and I think he's a really good value pick, especially with him. You can kind of just has flexibility.
Yeah.
Topaz, any real thoughts? Where do you see Akua going on this team? Does he play in the tank, knowing the lack of potential tank players in the draft pool here, or to see him on the DPS. I mean, support is his highest role in terms of SR, but if I draft Randy to play Lucio only, I probably could have waited a little longer for that one. So, wonder if you have any real thoughts on where you think Akua kind of slides in this roster.
Yeah, I mean, I know firsthand how good his Doom is. He absolutely destroyed us when we played against him when he was on Doom. So I think that's definitely an option. And with, like we've been talking about the tank speed, so lacking in SR, I think the very least he will play tank sometimes. But I think like he's a flex. Why not flex him? He's great at all three roles. Why would you not move him around unless you have two amazing players at another role?
All right. With that being said, our third pick is already in here as well as our fourth. So we'll do a quick discussion on the third, then move on to the fourth one. The captains are going quick, of course. First round usually goes by pretty darn quick. But with that being said, the third overall pick in the Overwatch Clash Season 7 draft, the Iced Out Isopods are going to select AST Design. Running it back, the Slovenian Slouchers, Flambo Jambo taking AST Design here. I know Flambo was on kind of the fence here, trading this pick actually away. Talking to Flambo Jambo, using my insider reporting here, he was wanting to take Akua with this pick, but knowing that Akua was gone, was thinking potentially trading this pick down and not locking in AST Design. But when you have a talent like AST Design sitting there at 3, especially on that DPS, I don't really know why you wouldn't take him here. So,
yeah, I know that people weren't sure what Flambo was going to do. People thought like maybe he's going to take like Nyanza or someone, and Panini, like that was sort of his backup, at least one of his backups. So yeah, I mean, running it back from the Sloucher was able to win it last time, so looking to try to do it again.
I mean, Joey and I both played with him in our 6v6 tournament, and I mean he was amazing. Like, obviously being champion in both tank and support is insane, and then being, I mean, effectively a GM DPS as well. I know he kind of for DPS, but it's the knowledge that you have on those other roles will bleed over to your DPS, of course. He's going to run lobbies. They will win games off of this man.
Yeah, especially seeing him on the main prioritized role of DPS. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Maybe he'll just be IGLing a little bit more on a flex DPS, possibly. But you never know what's going to happen with a card like AST.
Yep, and speaking of cards, just kind of got handed my next card here for the draft. So with that being said, with the fourth overall pick in the Overwatch Clash Season 7 draft, the South Korea Kittens 2, Meow or Never, are going to take up Missun, Chloe, whatever you want to call her at this point, for the GM DPS. No tank this time, so no run back for the Frog S, but Chloe kind of back on her main role of the DPS. Has always been some trouble here for the Overwatch Clash, other people on the team, but yeah, this is a surprise to absolutely nobody. So I don't really know if we want to talk about that one too much here. So let's go ahead. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. We'll go ahead and give it. RiddleDog, you've been here the longest. Thoughts on Chloe going number 4 here to Cat?
I mean, Paige always is super big fan of Chloe as well. So on the LaChance de Sham board, I think, as well, eventually. So we'll see if Paige can win her first game as a player captain now. So running it back with the same branding as well, new logo from Raz. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be fun.
Now we'll move quickly here. The captains are, so we'll go into pick number 5 here. The 4th overall pick in the Season 7 draft, the Baja Blasters are going to pick up Nyanza. I think this one is catching a lot of mockers kind of off guard. I know that people were thinking that potentially Rue could shoot up for potentially a spike here. I know probably a friend from outside the league, both on the wants to play with list with the lack of tanks going around, so thought that spike could be a pretty strong pick here at 5, but going with Nyanza instead, going with that carry DPS potential. Topaz WYND. I don't know if you guys have actually ever seen Nyanza play in the league. I think she was before your time, but
yeah, the season before.
Yeah, so
Did we just play with her recently, Joey? Was that her?
I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, I guess I don't really know her too well if that wasn't her. But like I said, I really value flex players, especially flex players that can play tank. So why not? Like, it's honestly kind of weird that she wasn't picked sooner, if anything. I don't know her too well, but like 4,000 tank, I guess not sooner. I guess it makes sense. I don't know why people are surprised, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It makes a lot of sense to me.
And speaking of making a lot of sense, we have our next pick in. So at pick number 6, the Luxembourg Landsharks are going to select WYND on the tank here. To the surprise of literally nobody who's talked to Jack this entire time. Jack was shooting for WYND basically since day 1. Had him on the wants to play with list. I know that WYND probably, if not the strongest tank player in this class. Our first tank off the board here at 6. I thought for sure we'd see him go a little higher, but 6. WYND falling all the way down here. Jack picking that player up. Wanted to carry, and looking good. So we'll go and start with WYND here on this one. WYND, what are your thoughts on this player that got taken here, and what are your expectations here on Luxembourg with Jack?
Well, I think it's going to be pretty fun, especially being on a team with a shark is a little picture. I kind of knew Jack was kind of gunning for me because he sent me a couple DMs. And so did another captain, which I'm not going to leak. But,
I
think it's going to be pretty fun playing with somebody like Jack. I haven't been able to play on a team with him properly. I played with a couple games with him. It seemed like pretty fun, so I'm pretty excited to play.
I've played with WYND once or twice before. He's okay. I think he's a little higher rated than he should be. I think he's a little washed and limited hero pool. So kind of surprised he went out this early. Not my favorite player personally, but I guess I'm not the captain.
Yep, and with that being said, we have our 7th pick in here as well. Go ahead and move on to that one. So the 7th overall pick, the Swagasaurus squad, is going to pick up Fancy to pair up alongside RiddleDog here on the tank roll. Fancy, of course, recently just won the 66 tournament with the Femboys. It's a fantastic tank here. Coming back, took a season off, I believe, so coming back for the Season 7 here. Very strong tank player all around, and we do have a couple of picks ahead. So I'll just go ahead and quickly say about my piece here. Fancy, very flexible, plays mostly the off tanks, but has shown to the ability to play things like Junker Queen, like the Maga for Overwatch 2, so a good sign, and plus good to see a man graduate middle school and come back. There's my joke. Going on here to pick number 8 already in the books. It's going to be the Barrier Heath Blue Highs taking Spike at the tank. Spike falling all the way down here to pick number 8 for War to pick on up. So War going to select Spike as the tank player for the Blue Highs. So pretty good pick here, having a 3850, I believe, tank here. Fall this low in the first round. Ward, of course, trading down quite a bit, so getting a lot of picks in the middle round. We're able to talk too much about this player. It is a rookie, so we don't have too much information to go off of, but just all around, Topaz, your thoughts on Ward's draft strategy of kind of trading down in the first round, getting a lot of the mid-round picks to choose from?
Well, first off, I think it makes sense. We're seeing the tank players, like obviously Joey's insane, and then we see Fancy and now Spike. It makes a lot of sense. I guess I don't know. I'm interested to see how it pans out. I think it's kind of risky, but there is a chance that he gets a lot of more all-around players and can really, I don't know. There's a chance he can draft a really good team, and as far as I'm aware, he's the only person doing this. So if it works, it's going to be great. If it doesn't work, it might be very problematic for him.
And War, it's the blow highs. Why are you mad at me in chat? It's blow highs. It's not blahage. Anyway, with that out of the way, pick number 9 is already in. And it is going to be the 9th overall pick in the Overwatch Clash Season 7 draft. The Empanadas is going to take Ari. It says for tank, but I believe that was a bit of a misspell. But of course,
it isn't. It isn't actually.
It is not. Okay.
I believe because he initially said oops, and then Panini said edit it, Lamau, and they said no, that's my pick.
Okay, so we're picking up Ari here on the tank.
3-5 tank. I mean, I remember driving Sonic around a little bit, and he was like talking to me about like the Sea Dragons as well, because he was with Ari there as well. As if you don't know, Ari's Seikana Yaoi, in case you're not aware. That's why we keep referring to them like that. But they were calculated like diamond, and then they're hard grinded, and then went all the way to 3-7, 3-8, and they just like hard calm like the whole time, and Sonic was just glazing like no tomorrow. But I mean, I have never played with Ari, so I cannot say. but I believe Sonic, and I think 3-5 could definitely be value
And
with the support because they play main support.
is that not the perfect Sonic player? It's just in every single mock draft I had, Sonic got like 5 diamond players. Like this is just the Sonic team, and he's building it again, the Guantanamo Tigers, and now once again here with the Empanadas. So we do have a couple more picks coming in here, so we'll go ahead and move on the next one. Then we'll get Topaz and WYND thoughts on the next one. But with that being said, the 10th overall pick, the Keller Hall Basement Dwellers are going to pick up Melon on the tanks. A couple Sea Dragons going back to back here off the Grand Finals appearance. And Melon, of course, known for the tank play, but especially last season on the Mauga. So we'll go to our Mauga specialist on the desk here, being WYND. Thoughts on the Melon Mauga? I believe you guys faced in the semifinals, correct? Or might have the bracket flipped in my head here?
No, you do.
We did play. Me versus Melon. Yeah, Melon's a very good Mauga player. I will not lie to you, but it's really interesting to see. I want to see what will kind of change more if Mauga's kind of out of meta. I know Melons does play a couple of the other tanks as well. He's not like he's just hero pool limited and it's just like a buff. I know Melon's a pretty good tank player, so I think it's going to be pretty good to pan out here.
Yep, and
There you go, correct colors.
we'll go to the next one. We'll let Topaz lead discussion on that one. So with that being said, the 11th overall pick, the Swedish Fish are going to take up Shoreline Pie on the DPS. So yeah, Shoreline Pie, of course, coming in last season playing for the Funky Town Floppas, had a pretty good rookie season. Was, I believe, a candidate for Rookie of the Year. A strong hit scan player. And we'll get some initial quick thoughts from Topaz, and we'll go to RiddleDog to glaze up his former player potentially here. So Topaz, thoughts on taking the hit scan here at pick 11.
Yeah, I know I said earlier that I didn't care as much about scan compared to Flex DPS, but honestly, Shoreline Pie was a player that I was going to pick up if I was a captain this year. From what I've seen from them, they're absolutely insane at the game, and then they can also play the support as well. High level support, 3700 is just going to be nice. And I think with Fish specifically being a tank player, it makes a lot of sense to pick up high ranked DPS player, and in this case, also a high ranked support player.
I think there's definitely a pretty big advantage here for teams like, or for captains like Poi, Fish, maybe Flambeau sometimes, but just to have the ability to play that tank. BBQ has been one kind of rumor to play that, but having the ability to play the tank and get these DPS players out of the way while a lot of the other players are kind of, or other captains are looking for that tank player is a pretty big boon, actually, with somebody you don't see very often. So, yeah, we do have our next pick in here as well. So, we'll go on to number 12. With the 12th overall pick, the Colombian Cody's, or is it Kotai, something like that. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, but they are going to pick up Sky on the DPS. Another kind of that high Masters DPS going off the board here to pair up with Corey, who is trying to build a team around his support this season, wanting to play that role, something he doesn't get very often. But yeah, with that coming through, thoughts on Sky, of course, coming off the Grand Finals MVP performance. Had really turned it up in the playoffs. You know, I think kind of before that, a lot of people were focused on H design on that team, but Sky really pulling the weight and putting the team almost on his back in some fights there for the playoffs and the grand finals. I'll go to WYND here.
It's funny. Well, one thing though is that it's funny because in the beginning of the season, the trade between the Selchers and the Two Dragons was Corey for Sky as well. So it's just funny. I'll let you go in.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. So yeah, especially going going off of the playoffs, especially seeing Sky, especially on that grand finals game, I think it's going to be a very good value pick here. Especially not value pick, just very good pick overall for Corey here, going into his first round draft. The only thing I can really just see here is a couple of tank players are gone, but I don't think there's too many yet to where you got to start scrambling to find one. So I think you're sitting pretty nice here.
Yeah, there's still two master tanks, on the board for main role.
Yeah, and speaking of tanks on the board, we have our tank captain here, Poi, going off the board on number 13. His pick is in. The Hatsune Frikus are going to pick up Tukipuk on the flex. I think this one's definitely caught me off guard a little bit. Tukipuk, and all around, just that 3700 player, full flex mode, really allows Poi a lot of flexibility in constructing the rest of his roster here. And I know that Poi was kind of aiming for that flat team look, and this is a great player to start off. We'll go to Topaz here for Tukipuk discussion, but Just thoughts on Tukpuk going here at 13 in the first round. I think a lot of people had him going a little lower than this, but Poi taking him here in the first.
Yeah, I mean, I've said before, I love picking up flex players, and I think a 3,700 on support is even better. And like he can play tank too, which is always nice. It's really just repeating everything I've said before. It makes a lot of sense. Honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if he was drafted sooner. I especially being an all-around player, I think that's so incredibly valuable.
Yeah, we will move on to our next pick. The last one of the first round at pick number 14 is going to be Neptune, which is going to be for the Moon Maboons. For pick number 14 is going to be Senemi going here on the DPS, sort of pair up with Neptune. Neptune's kind of the wild card here in the draft for me because Neptune has all roles listed, of course, like excellent player in all those roles, so can kind of pick whoever's there and kind of put himself in the reigning spot. So with that being said, well, none of you play with Senemi last season, Purple Apes, but well, RiddleDog, thoughts on how Neptune's seemingly constructing this team right now?
I mean, it's pretty good. Let's see, what is Sonami? 3-7. It's not high enough, at least, to where it's hard to run a roster because Neptune is so high, assuming he wants to play the DPS. Shut up, Siri. Oh my god. At like that 40-50 on DPS or whatever it is. And yeah, I mean, you don't see Silvertoes, you don't see Moon, Killjoy, support, stuff like that. And I think it's a fine thing to go around. I know that he's probably talked to Tomb Crater and War and Panini a lot, who are big fans of Sonomy and just the Purple Apes in general, so it's not too big of a surprise. My sources were telling me he's gonna go something else here, so that's just a little surprising.
Yeah,
to me.
my sources were also different, but Neptune keeping us on our toes here. The insiders don't have all the information, we don't have the locks, but with that being said, the 15th pick has been locked in, and then we have kind of paused the captains drafting here for a moment, but they should be able to continue here shortly, so we'll go ahead and get this pick in here. So at pick number 15, the first pick in the second round, the beginning of our real snake begins here. The Ishikawa is going to take Knave on the tank, so another tank off the board here for the rest of our captains to work, but a lot of people having kind of that tank already locked in, so I think Knave flying this far to 3650, a really good pairing here with Mardox and Pokemon guys, so still within that SR range of where they want to be for the average. So WYND, you know, just as a tank player yourself, 3650, rookie coming on in here, what do you want to tell them coming off your rookie/MVP season?
I think Knave is honestly pretty good value. I believe he is the tank player for MSOE. So he is coming off of a collegiate team as well. So you could probably see the comms coming in pretty closely there, especially to help out with the Izanagi's, I'm pretty sure, if I pronounced that correctly.
I think
but just
so.
also having a collegiate tank player as well, I think it's just going to help out with comms too. So high hopes. I'll be watching out, see if there's any tanks I don't play. Maybe grab a note or two from Winston if there is any there. But yeah.
Our next player is in. So at pick number 16, the Barrier Reef Blue Highs are going to go, or Blowhighs are going to select Void Fiber on the DPS. I know that Void Fiber was kind of a topic of discussion. I believe people who looked at the profile saw a lot of Venture play, and of course Venture's still very strong here with their abilities with the current meta. And just thoughts on this rookie Void Fiber coming in here, Topaz. What do you expect from this 3750 Master players?
I like it. It makes sense to pick up a DPS, in my opinion. I don't really. I mean, like rookie, right? So it's kind of hard to say what they're gonna play. But I think Venture is never gonna be a weak character. So picking up a Venture player seems like a good idea, because especially with the new meta coming out soon, it makes sense to pick up somebody that you know is gonna play your hero that's always gonna be good.
Yeah, and our next pick is already in. This one can have a little longer discussion on unknown commodity here. At pick number 17, the Iced Out Isopods are going to select up Rustigoomba on the flex. Of course, Rustigoomba falling to all kind of like the low masters on all roles, which is honestly a fantastic pick, knowing how well he communicates, how much experience he has on all the roles, especially tank and support. To pair up with Flambo Jumbo HT Design, I know he wanted to play that DPS line, kind of those two, probably the whole way through. But Rustigoomba is going to be a fit in on the year support or tank for him. So, RiddleDog, you've been around here. You know how Rusty operates. Thoughts on Rusty going here at number 17?
I'm always a big fan of Rusty. I mean, he's always down for whatever the team wants to do, whether it be chill out and have fun. He wants to win at least one game. That's always the requirement. Win at least one game. But if you want to like, I believe he said he doesn't want to scrim too much or whatever. He's just not as available because he got a job. And but he like if there's a scrim or something, he's going to show up if he can and stuff like that. So you still see like him going with the flow and trying to do what he wants. Like a big on communication. I could see. Oh my gosh, is AST like a heavy commer? I don't know, but I know Flambeau.
He is sometimes.
Yeah. I
Sometimes
think
he's
if he
stuff,
locks
he's
in,
sometimes
he'll let the comms.
Yeah, exactly.
So if this team locks in, I would not be surprised if it had the most comms. At least probably just by the end of the second round. So.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, honestly, it weirdly might be an issue of like too many cooks in the kitchen. That's kind of a ridiculous thing to say, but both Flambeau and AST, because I just played with them, like if they both like to talk a lot in game, and maybe Rusty Goomba does too. So, I mean, I don't know, it might be a little bullshit, but potentially could be an issue of who says what.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I played before, this is the second time Flambeau's been on a team with Rusty. The other time I was before, because it was Overwatch season 5.5 with the Arizona OTs as well. And at least initially, there was a problem where there was too much communication, like you're saying, but it was resolved pretty quick. So
I'd rather have more communication than not enough.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The next pick is in here, pick number 18 in the Aurora Overwatch Class Season 7 draft for the South Korea Kittens 2 Meow Never. It's going to be Guku on the flex. I think a lot of people...
Oh my god, he's back.
A lot of mockers didn't have Guku actually falling this far. I think a lot of people had him actually going to Corey in the first round at pick 12. So the fact that Paige is able to pick up Corey here, or Guku, not pick up Corey, Guku here, Diamond on tank, Diamond on DPS, and 3850 support if needed. But I think being able to put Guku probably on that tank role most of the time, if I take a guess, going forward, is a really good value pick, especially how much Guku communicates. Doesn't really play Overwatch, I believe, that much anymore. Gets a lot of Marvel Rivals time, so the mechanics are still online, still there, still getting practiced. I guess you guys really don't know who Guku is, you two rookies down here. But
I do. Yeah.
No, I'm a child. Sorry.
back in the day, Guku was the main support for the A team of UMN. So a lot of high experience here, a lot of scrim time, a lot of things ready to go. But
there's the funniest thing about this is that Guku was on the original South Korea Kittens as well.
Oh.
Because I believe it was this BBQ drop, and then Guku wanted to come in, but we didn't have like GM free agents.
I think it was
so we
something
had
like
him fill in for BBQ as well. So this is his second time with Paige as a captain under the South Korea Kitten branding. We'll have to see if they're able to do well. They do have Chloe as well, so that is definitely a good start.
Our next pick is in here at number 19. The Baja Blasters are going to pick up Milo, 16 Milo, to the surprise of literally nobody alive. We knew that Milo was the target of Ruben basically the whole draft here, and getting him here in the second round, never a bad idea. So Topaz, you are a main support player, and you played against Milo, 16 Milo, in the greatest Aurora match ever played on LAN. What are your thoughts on Milo coming out here?
I mean, I was kind of focusing more on WYND in that game, so I think I've actually played with him before, in the Circuit 3 thing. I might be wrong about that, but I know he's a great player. I know that he is. I'm kind of more worried, especially with these next two teams, about their lack of tank player. I think Milo's a good pickup, obviously, but I'm wondering what these two are thinking about for their tanks. Maybe Milo play tank, I guess. I don't know.
True. I remember he played tank once, at least when Vin wasn't there, and he did say flex. So, and I mean, they already have Ruben and Nyanza on that DPS, so that is definitely still open. There's nothing restricting them to obviously playing only support if they say support, like Seikana here, or like Void Fiber and DPS if they're not already locked. But it's just more for us as analysts to be able to understand. So we could definitely see the tank. I think it just depends how the market goes at this point.
And now WYND. As much as I'd love to hear your opinion on this one, I want to unleash you on the next pick. I know you're this player's biggest fan, so I want to get your opinions here on our 20th pick in the draft. The Swegosaurus squad is going to pick up Firestar Boss, or Fire on the support. So, Wind, honestly, this is all you, man. What's your thoughts on this player going at number 20 to the Swegosaurs?
Well, I have some colorful thoughts about Fire as a player, but I'm going to keep it straight. I know his support's pretty good, except for the couple times we do play comp together, so... Other than that, I've only heard good things from most people. So we're going to see, especially with being on the Pizza Pirates last semester, playing as their support player. I think it was their main support or flex support. I think it was flex support.
It was flex with Salami Boy and main support.
Yep. So I think he's going to do pretty well here, but we'll see.
Salami Boy 200. And now our next pick is in. It is going to be the Moon Baboons here at 21, picking up Charbitron. Our first quote-unquote sync is off the board, and this makes perfect sense for Neptune here. I believe you're also missing Cinnamon, the Baboons there on the screen, the red on the sheet.
Oh, I am. My bad.
Yeah, so now Cinnamon and Charbitron. Charbitron fitting right into this team to bring the SR down a little bit, so... you know, I think all of us here, especially me and Riddle, we played with her before. Love playing with Charlie. She's such a positive person for the team. She tries really hard. She is really good for her SR, so a great pick here for Neptune to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised because I know a lot of people were thinking it's like, okay, especially if you're sort of like mid to later in these rounds, meaning your higher SR, at what point do you pick up that sync if you want to go that route? You know what I mean? And I think some people are thinking like third round maybe, but so it's kind of surprising to see this second round pick, but it's really good to just sort of confirm it, just stamp it in, you know, so you're able to completely plan around that because everyone else is so like such a middling SR. You can get a lot of like 3-4, like 3-3-3-4 DPS or flex, if you know what I mean.
I also think Charbitron is one of the most valuable syncs as well. I watched her a couple of games and I agree. I think she's definitely higher SR than she was on the sheet, but also like I said, main support sync is great. So it makes sense to do it with Neptune as well. So
and listen,
yeah,
the
I think
reason
that's
that she's
why.
so low is because she duos with Nuttier on the Junkrat. That's the only reason that she's not hitting.
Oh yeah, that's why.
Bro, he's been winning bigly.
Yeah, sure. He tells you that. Who tells you that? Yeah, your primary source. Yeah, I'm winning all my games, man. I'm climbing the ladder. They're looking out for me.
Slander in chat.
So for pick number 22 here, the Barrier Reef Blow Highs are going to take Silver Tiles on the supports. Makes a lot of sense here. The SR to work with War, and Silver Tiles, of course, being able to play both those roles at least a mastered level, but of course, everyone being that support looked great on the Sea Dragons last season. Yeah, honestly, just a great overall pick here. You get that flexibility on lock. I know Topaz likes this one, so we won't talk to him for this one. Yeah, Wind, what are you thinking here for Silver Tiles? Of course, coming off the Grand Finals appearance with that Sea Dragon squad.
I think Silver Tiles is a great player as well. Better than Fire. I'm kidding.
Well, that might be a real statement. That might be a real statement.
I will not give my real statement, my personal opinions. But going in for the blow highs, as you said,
blow highs.
it's going to be looking pretty blow highs. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to make sure my pronunciation's correct.
Yeah.
You know, with War being on the flex roll here and having also just one tank, one DPS, one support, I think it's really going to help War here looking a little bit further in, depending on who captains more draft towards. He can try to like, he could fill personally for his team and he can choose whichever side that he really wants to go for more. I think it's going to be pretty good for them, depending on what are the next couple picks coming up.
Speaking of next couple picks coming up, our next one is in. So pick number 23, the Panda Empanadas are going to select Fatal on the DPS, another rookie coming into the league here, being in that sort of exact Masters range that, of course, Silent will take. So I think a lot of these teams kind of have to take this risk on a lot of these kind of mid-Masters or the low-Masters DPS players. We got Void Fiber, we got Fatal. A lot of them kind of being that risk you have to take here to potentially see if you can find another gem, if you couldn't find potentially, another Sky or another Senemi that we saw last season. So, thoughts on how, I guess we'll go, we haven't heard from Topaz. So, actually, no, RiddleDog. RiddleDog, your thoughts on Sonic just kind of building that all-around mid-Masters team that usually kind of does here, keeping that flat roster going, looking to rebuild the success from the last 2 seasons.
I mean, I think if you find the gems in the rough like he does a lot of the time, then this is like a really good strat because if you think about it, like a lot of the times with the flat teams, you think, oh, well, they don't have someone who's a lot lower SR, so they don't have sort of that possible liability or something like that. There's no quote unquote weak spot, you could say. But you saw last season, like Ari was low diamond, where they were quote unquote like the lower SR player, the sync. They turned out to be one of the best players on the team as well. So, and I know that Sonic, he does all this freaking research. Oh my god. He looks at all the profiles, figures out whatever he wants, and like just a whole bunch of stuff. So I would not be surprised if Fatal turned out to be a diamond in the rough because of it.
Well, technically a master in the rough, but we digress.
Yeah.
On to the next pick here at pick number 24. We'll let the 2 others on the desk take this one. It is going to be Foos going the way of the Killer Hall Basement Dwellers. We'll start with Topaz and go into win for this one. Both you two will get an option to talk about Foos here. Your MSU boy. Hype him up or take him down. I don't care what you do. Just give me some content.
Well, I think Booth is probably the best value pick in the entire draft. Simply because he does not play the game in draft. He only plays collegiate. So his rank is so much lower than it should be. I think he's an insane pickup. He was generally going to be my number 1 pickup if I was a captain. He's such a great value pick.
WYND?
Yeah, having Foos here on the table, especially playing with Melon. I know both of them are playing on the team Yummy Mail, which they just played in Bad Patch Mari League and won their game. I know that they got some great synergy there, so I'm hoping to see it transfer through here, and just see it kind of just maybe even run over some teams. You know, see some Mauga, see some Genji, possibly, especially with Melon on the tank role.
Or sees that Winston Tracer. I know that Foos wants to play some Tracer this season, so
He does in fact want to play Tracer this season.
might be the perfect tank for that to go with. So a good start here for Basement Dwellers in the draft, but we do have our next pick here at pick number 25 is going to be the Swedish Fish taking Frosty. Frosty kind of just the ever-present quote-unquote sync for most teams here in the league. Always kind of hanging around that plat range, but playing way above that SR. Riddle, you know, we didn't hear you on Foos, so how do you feel about Frosty here going? Of course, Frosty always used to be a target for a lot of teams in the draft, and now Fish having that land in his lap is a really good third player for that roster.
Definitely. And it's like what I was sort of saying as well, where the Neptune sort of tried to find that lower sync a little bit in this second round just to confirm it. Like Fish got Proline Power, which is a crazy DPS, able to do super well on that hit scan, as well as Frosty, who I've talked to Oaks about Frosty recently, and he's just talking about how it's like a lot of time you don't see him make super egregious mistakes sometimes. That you'd see some players like of the SR do, especially that don't like play a lot of comp or whatever, that don't play the game a lot. So it's really good, and I could see Fish trying to just build whatever he wants now because he's got that lower SR.
We do have our next pick in here as well. At pick number 26, the Colombian Kotais are going to pick up Booney on the tank. And apparently I need to learn how to say this team's name. Or actually, I don't, because I'm not going to cast him ever. So I don't have to worry about what the name is. Yeah, so...
I'm going to Corey chat. Hold on. let me go type in Corey chat.
Yeah, Booney coming off the board here. It feels weird saying that, but here at pick number 26, I think a lot of people might have had Booney going on other roles here, not tank, going more for that sort of sync role on the DPS or support, but Corey opting to tank Booney on the tank here instead of, something else. Thoughts?
I mean, you started, because you didn't play comp for forever, bro, and that's why you placed those off rolls to see if you could play them if you'd like, and you placed your tank as well, and it got you to 3-6, I think, which is impressive, definitely. And with like how you don't play the game that often, from what I know at least, and at least in a lot of the mock drafts, I had Corey picking up, I don't know, someone like Guku, like you were saying, as well, and then I had him picking up you, whether it be for a tank, and then if he wants for like a second comp, he can put you onto support, or if like there's still some other tank that he wants to get or something, and he wants to get that lower SR, he's just able to move you over to the support. So I could see, even though he listed you as tank, depending on how everything goes, that you end up on that other role.
True. Topaz, WYND, any thoughts? They're still waiting on the next pick to come in, so we can go back and discuss another pick if you'd like.
Yeah.
Or
No, this Booney guys has a lot. I have a lot to talk about this Booney guy. I think he is a pretty good value pick, especially when he just started climbing. I saw him playing ranked a lot. This Booney character.
I just wish that
Yeah.
there's a 6v6 code so I could play a Winston Doomfist composition, but I digress.
The monkey's paw.
paw, baby.
I did not hear that one before.
No, me on Doomfist and Booney on tank, the monkey paw. It goes kind of crazy in 6v6.
It sounds like it would.
But yeah, Booney, especially with not only the Reinhardt that I've learned of as of a month ago, also playing mainly other characters as well, showing the flexibility that he can kind of do whatever he really wants on the tank role. But yeah, we'll just see how he performs.
I still think it just makes sense to think about another tank player as well.
Yeah.
Pick number 27 is here for the Hot City Freakus and is going to be Pneumonia, going at number 27 here over to Poi. Probably going to play more or less that DPS role if I had to take a guess, but Pneumonia, pretty solid all-around player, can play the Genji and a lot of the DPS, but mostly the thing that strikes a lot of people is the support, the Kiriko, the Ana. Of course, very good on that the quote-unquote DPS as well as the support. But yeah, only 3250 on the DPS is a huge value pick for people who have seen Pneumonia play. And yeah, it is good to see Logan go back to an anime team. I know that we're very happy with that one. So
Why am I on the anime team again? He says, thank you. It's funny because he's on the same team as Tookie Puck again, like last season. So, like from the Roosters, they both carried over. Tookie was that flex support with Pneumonia on the DPS, and with Hook on flex right now, I could see him go back to that flex support. So,
yeah, WYND, why don't you go ahead and talk about your former teammate there, Pneumonia, at 27.
Oh, Logan, I really enjoyed playing with Logan. I'm not gonna lie, his Mei is kind of scary to me. I'm gonna be very scared if I see like a Poi on, like a Reinhardt with Pneumonia.
You ain't gonna see that.
No, you don't think so?
no, you're
right,
gonna
Poi's
see you're gonna see Ramatra
You ain't gonna.
or JQ,
But
most likely JQ.
If you see the Ryan, you
Still,
probably
the
won. You
brawl
probably
potential.
won.
The brawl potential here, especially with Pneumonia on the Mei, though, is gonna be pretty scary to go up against as a tank player. So yeah, Topaz, any thoughts on Pneumonia?
Yeah, I've played with him a couple times. I think I've played with him on both. He's a really good player, though. I think, honestly, I thought he was higher rated than this. And I guess with this previous synergy with Tookie, makes a lot of sense to draft them together. They might have I haven't seen the sheet, but they might have even had him on want to play with. So, existing synergy and then picking up a good support player, it makes a lot of sense at this point in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, we are now waiting for BBQ to get that pick on in here. See if. Okay, it is.
Here we go, yippee. How is present?
At pick number 28, we are going to have the color hall based on Dollar selecting Dante Fanfan for the support. I think people might have had Dante Fanfan going a little lower than this, but round 2, BBQ kind of picking up that sort of sync for his support role, most likely to pair with Foost and Melon. So all around, just mid-master team is again being built here, this flat squad that BBQ is assembling, ready to go, because they'll probably have BBQ on the DPS, Melon, Tank, Foost on the DPS, and Dante Fanfan being the quote-unquote lowest player in the team at 3150 is not a bad roster construction whatsoever. And yeah, just thoughts on Dante Fanfan going this way. We'll start with Topaz on this one.
I mean, I am Dante Fanfan's biggest fan. I think that I really value picking up someone who's higher rated and then picking up for their alternate role. Maybe that's just because that's what I'm doing this season, but I think that's a great idea because you have the game knowledge. You just apply it somewhere else. And I I played with Dante Fanfan when they played other roles, and they played it very well. So I think it's a great pickup.
I do have to mention, I see Bucket in the chat doing the not like this, because I know that Bucket was in a lot of BBQ's mock drafts. Maybe I got some DMs on top of that one as well. So maybe realizing that he might have lost the ticket to go to the Basement Dwellers, to go to Keller Hall and start to learn. But
I just realized as well, who was it? Akua saying that it's Melon and Boost again together from the Bunger Brigade 2 seasons ago as well. I don't know if BBQ knows that or not.
No. There's a strong chance BBQ does not know that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't look at the, what is it, wanna play with us and everything, but I could see. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, they just put each other on wanna play with us. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I do know that. I see him type in draft picks. Nice. He knew.
Okay,
He's a
he
knower.
did know that. The doctor was aware. The doctor was in that day. With pick number 29 here now, the Luxembourg Land Sharks pick up Witherin on the support. I believe, Witherin is kind of part of that St. Michael Hawks core that always kind of plays together. Fancy, HVSEC, War, Jack, that kind of group. So I know that Jack kind of picking up one of the friends there from the group, a known commodity here with that team specifically. So we're going to have Jack, WYND, and Witherin. So a nice kind of all-around still flat team. No real need for the sync there. Witherin playing well above the SR 3100. So Land Sharks looking good. And now WYND, just the initial thoughts here, not having kind of, I believe your support line kind of locked in with Jack and Witherin. I think that Jack's kind of leaning more towards the support this season. So kind of looking for a DPS still, but thoughts on support line so far?
I think it's going to be pretty interesting personally, because we're going to see probably Jack on the flex support and then Witherin on the main support, as a Jack signed up only for flex support mainly. I think it's going to be pretty interesting personally though, because I don't know much about Witherin, so I don't really want to give any hard factual approved opinions of mine. So I just sadly don't know enough personally, but it seems like if Jack and Witherin are pretty good friends, there's probably going to be synergy there, which is just going to help out, especially in the comms as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Now, Riddle, you were here. Was Witherin part of the Hawks? He was, wasn't he? He was a support for the Hawks.
He was on the Hawks. I don't.
Was he
know
on
if
the Skies?
tagged.
Was he on the Skies as well?
That's what. Oh, that was 5.5, right? Yes, it was. Okay, hold on. I'm checking it right now.
Yeah, or we can wait for Ox to make his selection here for the Freakus. Still on the clock.
He was on there. I don't think it was. I feel I would like you, if you're curious. Brett Sonic also just told me about this immediately before. But if you search for Witherin and you look at the results, it's only GGs. They're like the silent gamer, basically. That is they clock in and they clock out, but they're good at what they do.
Well,
a lot of the time,
using
as well.
my leaking powers, the team chats, they're usually more active in those. So we only get to see what's on the outside, but
exactly. But yeah, Witherin, I think, more known for flex support in the past, but has shown a lot of the ability to go to that main support as well. I think it's is it Frosty? There's another lower support player that's like that. I know Wiggle is like that as well. Wiggle's a flex support player that plays a lot of main support in the league. But yeah, known quantity for people who know, and Jack is, like you're saying, he's a part of that friend group of good friends with War and HV and stuff. So he's accustomed to Witherin and how they're able to play. And it's good to see them back because they've been gone for a while, I think. What was it, Monokuma? The last one?
Yes. The Mischievous Monokumas was the last team we saw Witherin on, I believe.
Yeah.
Still. Okay, we finally got pick number 30 and only took 5 minutes. But here we are. We do have the Hot City Freakus picking up Wordy on the DPS here at number 30. So we're probably going to see Tukipuk on the support then in this case. Pneumonia and Wordy probably going to lock down the DPS line. So still waiting to see potentially because Tuki is mainly a main support, correct? So probably seeing that flex support pick coming up here shortly.
Look, played flex support last season with EJ and mid support.
Okay. Every time I think
I
of
mean, they
Togepoke,
can flex
yeah, every
around.
time I think of Togepoke, I just think of Lucio. I don't know why, but
I will say I recently played with Wordy and Pugs, and they absolutely stomped some higher rated players. They played insanely well. So I think I know this is another player that I'm kind of surprised that their SR is this low. I think that I mean, they were playing handstand when I saw them, but I don't know what if they actually play that. But I think they're another great value pick, similar to Foster or to Foost. Yeah, amazing player from what I've seen.
Yeah, I heard from Panini because he was hosting the Pugs. He's like saying they really want to get Wordy, I think, because just how well they did in those Pugs. And like it's just how long I think it was until Wordy got picked up. And right at the top of third, I guess.
and
So.
I mean the thing I'm looking at here as well with the Freakus team is having just two hard flex players as well as Poi who can play all roles. This team is going to be really, really flexible. They're going to have a lot of different looks to potentially work with or just throw at teams to kind of keep me off guard. Kind of almost a meta-resistant squad so far with kind of the talent they have listed on that squad. So honestly, I think Poi building a really good roster right now so far. And I guess kind of looking ahead at the next few picks here, like, you know, Corey and Fish each having a support, a DPS, and a tank. Like, where do you guys think that both these captains are going to probably lean here for their third round pick? Because we're not going to see these two cats for quite a while with the Snake. So you got to pick up either, you know, another tank, a support, DPS. Where do you think they're going to lean here? What's more valuable to some of these teams right now going forward?
Well, the way I'm looking at it right now for DPS, I think the next highest DPS that can be drafted, I believe, is Yak at 3650. And the next highest tank is 3500, which is Yoda, I believe. So it's going to be very interesting because if they both lean one way, it's going to be kind of a fight between them to who gets, I don't know, to fill the other role unless they're looking at another flex player.
I think
So
not to cut you off, I'm saying if Fish can pick up Yak again and run it back from the Selena South last season, that's probably going to be what he goes for, right?
probably.
I mean, they got Frosty from the Soldiers.
Yeah. They're kind of missing a fairly important part of that team, but we won't talk about that.
I mean, I could see Corey going like a mid Masters player, maybe. Like, even though they might want that sync with himself and Sky and you if they run you on tank, but they're still like us saying the opportunity to put you on support. So it just depends on how that goes. So if he goes that DPS and it comes back to the Snake, if there's a low support or something like that, then he's just able to go to that. But if there isn't, then he can move you to support and then pick up a tank instead, like a lower tank as well. So yeah, that's what I think at least. Let's see. What are we on?
Yeah, we're still waiting on
31
pick
coming
31
up.
from Corey, taking his damn time here to pick a player.
He's typing. I see him
Yeah,
typing.
I
I know at this point especially, this is where this would probably be the slowest part.
Yeah, this is the
of
stressful
draft.
part of the
This
draft.
next
This
round.
is definitely a stressful part of the draft.
Yeah, because
it's not
you
hard
have
to plan
like,
for this part.
yeah, it's hard to plan for, and you just have to like sort of think like, okay, this player that I pick right here is super important because it determines who I'm able to pick up later as well. Because later it's sort of like you just sort of pick from the scraps whoever else remains, but right here there's still a lot of good choices.
Oh,
At pick 31, the Colombian Kotais are going to pick up EJ for DPS here. Now, EJ, of course, having the flexibility of also playing that main support 3400, the tank 3100, but wanting to mainly stick to that DPS at 2300. So there's the sync for Corey here on that DPS role. And yeah, I mean, EJ, of course, all around a leader in the community for his teams. I know WYND, you played with him last season on the Roosters. Just kind of thoughts on EJ here being picked at number 31 for an off roll at 31.
I believe that EJ is going to be very good value here, especially if you have a team who can kind of just like also help coach him up, probably a higher SR. Especially, I don't think he has Ash listed. I think it's mainly hit scan as in closer range. I'm trying to check. I just can't see. But it's mainly a lot of flex DPS as well. So I think it's gonna be pretty nice going in. I will be scared, as Tukipuk is saying, if the exclamation point JE comes out on the Reinhardt. I think it's gonna be pretty frightening.
No other teams in the league have a Ryan player except us. We got Booney
Yeah.
and JE. How are you gonna stop us in the man-on-man tournament?
One interesting thing is that he said that he doesn't want to rim that often, or he started just trying to do it for fun as well, and he's fine with being a 6th player and being benched as well. But I've heard Sonic say you can probably just strong arm him into wanting to scrim anyways.
He did. He
Like,
had a
if the
heavy.
team wants to.
He had a comma that said if he feels like it. So that's a
Yeah.
really heavy lifter right there. If he feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Pick number 32, Swedish Fish are going to pick up Tank B to, again, the surprise of literally no living human on this earth. Picking a good friend here. Fish and Tank B always kind of stuck at the hip to each other. The Rhine, May, the Wiston Genji, whatever you want to say, Ram Reaper, you know, they always seem to be together, not too far apart from one another. So great synergy build up between this tank and DPS player to pair with Shoreline Pie and Frosty. All around, good solid roster so far for Fish. We'll go to Topaz. Thoughts on Tank B here?
Oh,
I mean, I don't know too much about the players, but I love the idea of them being sort of a off meta, sort of like their own personal style. I think that can. I mean, you saw it with London Spitfire, obviously very famously just playing their own stuff. And if you're playing a meta that only you play, you're gonna have so much practice against everyone else, but no one else will have practice against you, and it can allow you to win games that you otherwise reasonably shouldn't play. So I love any team that really tries to, I don't know, go for just their own little meta and just play it for in any way, shape, or form that they can.
We do have time here, so WYND, any initial thoughts on Tank B here off the Sea Dragon's success coming back to pair with Fish here?
Yeah, pairing with Fish I think is going to be pretty nice, especially because I'm really interested in these synergies that players have together. Is the dreaded word for admins and captains are duos, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially looking at just people who play well together. You just enjoy to play with each other. They're going to feel so much more comfortable and open to either new ideas or new characters if they don't normally play them. Just like having a confidence booster next to you is going to be very nice, especially in comms.
And now, of course, we have the Luxembourg Land Sharks on the clock here. WYND, this is your team, man. Who are you looking at for Jack to potentially draft here in the 3rd round with pick 33? Basically, the half Satan pick here, 333. What are your thoughts on where you want your team to kind of lean for this pick?
I'm really hoping for a DPS player. Look at that, we have 2 support and a tank player. I'm really hoping for a DPS player. But looking at it, I think it's still Yak is the highest, if I'm not lost. Yak is still the highest, then below that is Nesquik. And then after that is Cray and HVSec, if I'm pretty sure. So it's, I mean, you have 36, you have 30.
It's gotta be HVSec,
36.
doesn't it? I mean,
I could see it.
I could see the HVSec come out.
My hands
Let's
are in the
see.
air. Absolute Cinema might be upon us. He's typing right now in the draft chat. So,
Oh my god.
Cinema.
Did you guys call it?
Yeah, Cinema with pick number 33, Luxembourg Land Sharks, like HVSec.
Chills.
Parentheses, guys, was
Oops,
this
I
the
don't
right
want
pick? So, WYND,
Um,
was this the right pick? This is your team. Was this the right pick?
I've played with both of them on the Foxians last season. At least when I think we were, what team were we playing?
That's
I think
a great
it was
question. You were
the
the
Floppas.
You were the only one there.
I believe it was us versus the Floppas, and I don't know, when I was calming on the support role, filling in for Jack, they HV, and I believe it was just HV because Jack wasn't there, obviously. Very, very receptive to comms and opening up. Like, even if it's a weird comp that I asked if we could run it, it worked pretty well. So I'm really gonna see probably you might see some weird comps that we might be running, a little niche, but hey, if it fits the people's play styles, we'll probably be running them. That's what I'm looking at.
If the shoe fits.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now we're looking at, okay, I was going to try to
Yippee,
go
yippee.
in here, but yeah, Sonic already beat me to the point. At pick number 34, the Empire Empanadas are going to select Voyager for the DPS role. Voyager, coming off Tokyo Zilla's last season, just a stellar hit scan player for the SR. Again, just kind of the perfect player here to pair up with Sonic Ronic. But the thing that's interesting here is who's going to be playing the support. Is Sonic going to be on support? Because they have 3
I
DPS.
can see him. He's 3-5.
So,
Sonic's 3-5 on support, so I can see that.
I can definitely see it. I just see this kind of 3 DPS players coming up here. But, you know, we can talk about Voyager a little more, but I want to more or less lead the discussion the way the Small and Silly Geese here finally getting their 3rd player here in the 3rd round of pick 35. You know, getting a lot of that draft capital to move up and take a Akua here from Seikana. You know, is she thinking that a tank player here, or is she going the way of a DPS? Where do you think that Seikana is leaning here? We'll go with Topaz. I heard you in a while here, man. 3rd player, a lot of pressure on this pick. I think this could kind of make or break the season, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, let me see. I think a tank player makes sense, but like you don't need it because of Akua. It's really not necessary. But it would be nice, of course, to allow them to play other stuff. I think Yak makes a lot of sense too, of course. The highest rated DPS player left. I would say Yak or Yona make the most sense. I don't see them picking up a support, though.
I mean, yeah, do you think of every other team has their tank already, basically? So I kind of have my pick. Do I save that tank pick for later? You know, kind of the thoughts. But we do have the pick coming in here. And pick number 35, Small and Silly Geese are going to pick up Killjoy on the tank. So we were all wrong. But Killjoy, a High Master support player, going to be leaning over towards that tank here, it appears, for the look of Small and Silly Geese. And we do have another quick pick, so I'll go over that one real fast as well. Keller Hall Basin Dwellers. BBQ has typed up for a couple of rounds, apparently. He went instantly to type this one. Pick number 36. The Keller Hall Basin Dwellers are going to pick up Bunny on the Flux support. So, back to Small and Silly Geese here. Killjoy and the tank, pairing up with Akua. I think that team is just super flexible now, right? You have Akua on the Flux roll, GM and all rolls. Killjoy having that high master support in the bank, as well as the low diamond tank and DPS. So kind of are the Silly Geese here. Do you like how they kind of approach the draft with the huge trades coming through to move it to number 2, get Akua, and now build it kind of towards those remaining high players?
I mean, I'd say it's worked, right? I wouldn't be upset if I were them, if I was Seikana. And I also think, like, you don't have to put, as far as I'm aware, you don't have to put Killjoy on tank, right? So potentially, I don't know their hero pools, but potentially on the meta, flip them and Akua around. But yeah, I think and it would only make sense if they had 2 more picks coming up pretty soon too. So I think Seikana's in a pretty good position right now.
Yeah, now the Basement Dwellers as well at pick number 36, going to pick up Bunny for that support, and that just completes the team. I think that's your starting roster right there with Melon on the tank, Foos BBQ DPS line, Date Fan Fan, Bunny support. I think that this is kind of what BBQ had cooked in the mocks. I think this is exactly the team he wanted, and it fell this way in the draft. So, you know, looking at the completed kind of starting roster now, what are your thoughts on that one, Wind? Looking at a very solid roster, I think, all around.
Yeah, I am gonna say it does look a little spooky for me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, especially because it's just like a more heavier front line and then a slightly weaker back line. But if you're constantly playing dive, it won't really matter as long as your back line can kind of just like stay alive and thrive. Your front line will just hopefully clear up in the front, which it's kind of like it's a more flat front line if I'm wrong, and a more flat back line. But we're gonna see how it really pans out, especially with their 6th pick. I might just be completely wrong if BBQ flexes to a different role other than DPS, but no clue.
Now I need to open up the draft sheet real quick because, sorry about that, chat. Guys got a bit of a jump scare there. The remaining players left on the board here, there's a lot of big ones left, like Moon especially, kind of stuck up here, still waiting to get picked. Could be a kind of a game-changing player for a lot of teams. I'm sure they pick him up here. So now Swagasaurus on the board. Do you see Moon going here shortly to any of these teams? You know, like a Swagasaurus, a Blasters maybe? You know, they need kind of that higher player to pair up with Nyanza.
but that is high.
That is very
I
high.
want to say,
But
I want to say that Moon, other than AST on tank and support, Moon is the highest player in the season, like to be able to pick from as well. So I don't know. That's gonna be hard. I'd have to see how the SRs work with Ruben and the Blasters as well, since what they, assuming Milo plays support, then they need like a super low tank, or if Milo goes to tank, then they need a lower support anyways.
pick number 37, the Swagasaurus squad is going to pick up Wiggle Higgle on that support. So I think kind of keeping that sort of flat going here, especially with how high Fancy and Fire are on their respective roles. So taking, the 30-50 support here from Wiggle Higgle will keep your support line low in terms of SR, but also high in terms of overall value. So we'll go ahead and talk to you on this one here, RiddleDog. This is your team. I know you love playing with Wiggle Higgle, so really any initial thoughts off this pick here from Panini?
My Silent King, Wiggle. I need to add him onto the roster. Hold on, just one sec. I know that out of like all the lower players, where you can quote unquote sink, right? Wiggle isn't that bad. He's still diamond. He's low diamond, but yeah, I mean he does not say a single word, but you don't see a lot of mistakes from him. And with myself, Fancy, and Fire,
I don't think you guys need
talking
comms.
a whole lot, we don't need any more. And I think that he's, because I know Fire's like in the Juno meta would play Juno with Salami Boy on Brig in their collegiate team. I can see Wiggle like flexing to whatever he wants. Like I was saying before, he's a flex support that plays main support with League. Like Bunker, he played flex a little bit, I think. But yeah, I'm super happy I'm reunited with my king. So
And pick number 38, the Baja Blast are going to select Yoda. Going to lock down that tank position here for that squad. So we're going to have the Yoda tank, Ruben, and Nyanza DPS with Milo on support. So again, building around that, Nyanza keeping the SR low in the other roles, I think is looking really good for them so far. I don't think, like, looking at all the teams on the board here, there's not, like, a team that really stands out as, like, above the rest, but it's neither a team that kind of looks below everybody else so far. So I think a lot of these captains are building really strong rosters here, especially the limited SR and the sort of limited pools here. So thoughts on Yoda coming up here on the tank and maybe potentially stealing that away from Cat, because I think that Cat still might need that tank player unless they're leaning on the Goku here to play tank for the South Korea Kittens too. But yeah, Ruben taking up Yoda. WYND, you are a tank player, so we'll go and get your initial thoughts on that one.
I think Yoda's going to be very good to pick here, especially because looking forward into the future, I think now we are at the point where every other tank player is under the SR cap, starting with Bananas here at 3350.
other than Tommy, if he off rolls.
If Tommy
well.
off rolls, okay.
Mhm.
But now with just the rest of the teams, especially with trying to fill player slots, we're going to have to see who gets picked, because none of the remaining 4 tank players play all 3 roles. They only sign up either for 2 or 1. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting looking forward. Especially.
It's also really awkward for those 4 more tank players of like how they're going to get playtime. I think a team can pick up one of the lower SR players and be a really good off roll, especially if you have, I don't know any specific team, but some of the teams have tank players that play other roles as well. So it'd be a really good way to have some of these low SR tank players get a couple of maps in and still get value from them.
And now, Cat on the board here, has Goku, has Chloe. Where do you want to see her lean? Does she try to target a tank player, or do you roll the Goku tank for most of the time and try to pick up, potentially another support to kind of line up with you here? I know there's some still left on the board, like potentially like a Ramataz for flex support to pair up with Cat is on there. I know that she enjoys playing with Raz. Because, Cat is definitely the wild card, I think, remaining in the draft here, with Goku being such a flexible player, can kind of really go anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Goku's tank, it's at 3-3, which I think is very high value. Like you're saying, he doesn't play the game too much, I don't think, especially on the off rolls of tank and DPS. But I feel like if he tried, then he could definitely get a lot higher. So I could see them trying to run that a lot of the time, but I see Cat typing. So we'll have to see.
We'll have to see where she lands. With that being said, I'm going to turn my head over 9 degrees to the left and check the football game, and oh my god, what a score.
What's happening?
Lions are losing 31-21.
Oh.
And who are the Lions playing?
They're playing the Washington Commanders.
Washington Overwatch team?
Washington football team.
Interesting.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Kat to type, so I'm just gonna sit here and how about this? The one person who isn't on a team, Topaz. Is there a team you're looking at that you want to end up on so far from who you've picked? You know, is there any team you?
I mean, I think that the basement. Yeah, I think that the basement dwellers are the strongest, so I would love to go on them, but there's no way because it just doesn't make sense.
It is a pretty strong team with how they have 5 players compared to most other 4-3s.
Mankato and
Yeah.
Friends Part 2.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Oh my!
As long as I'm not on the Land Sharks, I think I'll be okay.
He hates me, guys. He's a fan.
You got 2 picks here to discuss here now, gentlemen. At pick number 39, the South Korea Kittens are going to pick up the Nort Logic for tank/Bastion purposes. And Flambeau literally took half a millisecond to type in his pick here at 40. The Isopods pick up Yak, and we have the Sweden Slouchers again.
Yippee.
Yippee.
I mean, that's an insane team.
But you got to think about, though, Yak can't play support here like he did for last season.
Bro.
They'll have Flambeau, Jambo, and DPS now support. So it's a different look, same players, new flavor, same ingredients, different cooking method. So we'll see how Flambeau decides to work that squad. So we won't talk about very much about the Isopods. We know that they won the championship last season. They're trying to do it again. It's worked definitely before in the past. It has not. But now Kittens too, are never taking up Nort Logic for their tank. So this probably means that Goku will be leaning more towards the DPS, I'd assume, because kind of Goku. Well, Goku and Kat, I was gonna say, have a very similar hero pool that main support.
But under the role preference, I want to say Goku said, what was it? Generally don't care. I'll play whatever this season. Otherwise, the priority is highest is flex DPS and lowest is main support. So I could see him playing flex support with Kat on main support. But like you said, I could see also the DPS.
It kind of depends where Kat picks the next person. It's kind of weird how that happens, huh? But yeah, the Silly Geese now on the clock, having picked up Killjoy in the 3rd round. And we do have the call out here. We got a pause in the chat here from Saikana whipping. She's got to get the calculator on this one. They are cooking something up right now. We'll have to see what that actually is. So in the meantime,
can we talk about that second pick? Like, how did Yak manage to fall this far?
It's every single season. It's every season Yak falls to like the 5th round. I do not understand. Even back in the 7-7 days, always falls down so low for whatever reason, and then their team does very well. So we'll have to see how Yak really fits in here. I know that's kind of the perfect team for Rusty, though, because I know that Yak and AST not really too big on scrimming or anything, so that's exactly where Rusty wants to go. Just kind of show up on game day and lock in. All right, Saikana still...
There we go. Yeah, yes.
Saikana's still typing, and we do have it in. So pick number 41, the Somalian Silly Geese are going to pick up Cray on the DPS. The reunion of the Quails coming here for those two, back on another bird-themed team.
Wait, hold on. 1 second, I just realized Flambeau put Yak for tank. I don't know, probably troll, but okay, keep going with the Cray.
I don't know. That kind of makes sense, actually.
What? I don't know.
Yeah,
Cray though.
Cray DPS.
The Silly Geese.
Once again, a pairing of the Quantico Quails from last season. And speaking of reunions, Cam's moving a lot faster now. Pick number 42, the Izanagis are going to pick up Tommy Slat on support. So we have the Purple Apes go back.
Oh my gosh. This is like the run back season, I guess.
I'm noticing a pattern, guys.
Yeah.
Might just be me.
Surely these teams do as well that they did last season. Also, I'm going to go back to back here from Toon Crater, Toon Crater is going to pick up Red Cactus on DPS. from the Owls being freed. And yeah, that is unfortunate though. We did have Toon Creator. He did miss tight Rec Cactus, so this is an invalid draft pick. You're gonna have to void this one, I think, RiddleDog. You're the commissioner. You got final say, but not tight.
And now TC getting pick number 71 and 72 now. He does not get to draft this turn, I guess.
Yeah. See.
These guys have just been waiting for these picks to come on through here. So now pick number
Yeah, what
44,
the heck?
War the Berry Blahages, just for him, are gonna pick up Skycer on the flex, and I'm surprised that Sonic lets Skycer go here, but gonna go the way of the Blahages, and it's a pretty.
Bro,
I
if
think this is late for Skycer.
I also agree. This is
Yeah.
fairly late for Skycer. I think Skycer 3150 on the DPS, but especially 3450 on support is a great steal. I know we've seen a lot of tank out of Skycer recently, so people might have been sleeping on potentially the the main support look, but has always been very solid in that role. So
yeah, I mean, bro, if you have not been in a VC with Sonic and Skycer, you should be thankful because they love to argue so much. Oh my gosh. And if he was on the freaking empanadas, then you would not be able to get anything done with how much they'd be talking together.
they just like to talk, man. What's wrong with having a conversation between friends and teammates, huh?
That are yelling between each other.
Yeah, what's better than that? What's better than passionate communication?
Yeah.
Flambeau now, of course, on the board. I don't know if there are any remaining Speeding Slouchers out there on the board still to go, but I'm sure if there is one, Flambeau would find it.
Transflect.
Yep, and Transflexion might just be the pick here at 45. Still probably doing some calculations in the head. So I guess
Would Raz fit? I feel like Raz would work well with their team too.
Raz might fit here as well. So I guess while we're waiting for Flambeau to pick, we can talk about the two teams here, the Blahages and the Izanagis, of course, kind of now one pick away, but they won't be for a while here at the end of the snake. So, well, look at the starting five between these two teams. What are your kind of thoughts on the overall roster build? We'll start with we'll take Topaz, you take the Blahages, and we'll do a WYND, you take the Izanagis. So Topaz first. Go ahead and discuss.
Yeah. With Slicer, I think you can actually play him on DPS pretty well. If I remember correctly, they hung for one of our games and we won that game, or two games actually. They played incredibly well in the Ash, and then obviously Silvertals, is an insane support player. I don't know. I think they're very strong. I don't know a lot about Spike or Void Fiber, to be completely honest, but I also think that War isn't afraid to bench himself. So there's a way where they can, with their 6 slot, they can really add a lot of flexibility to what they want to do. I know they want to come in to be interviewed. I don't know if we'd be willing to do that, but potentially he'd be able to explain his thought process a little bit more.
Maybe once we get a little further in here, towards the end, get the overall thoughts on the entire team once they're all drafted. But at pick number 45, the Isopods are going to take Snowspot WK on that support. So kind of just that mid-diamond support player. Kind of fits right into that team.
The only console player in this season as well.
Aura.
Really,
Such a wild card.
I think personally, Snowspot's going to be pretty interesting to watch at. I know, if I'm not wrong, the SR was calced differently because it is console, right?
No.
Riddle,
Don't
you
do
might
that anymore.
no.
Don't do that anymore.
No.
Okay, it was just italicized on the public sheet, so I was just wondering. Okay, I think it's gonna be pretty interesting though. I think seeing Snowspot here picking mainly the main support though, I guess will kind of just like change the gap between console and PC, the input. Because like on main support, I don't know, personally for me, I feel like it's like less mechanically necessary than it is for like something like hit scan, to where it's kind of like being on console isn't the worst to be on
Yeah.
for main support
know
more
what you
than I'm
It's
trying
like
to
if
say
you're on
it without
Lucio,
being
you don't
mean.
need to hard frag out on Lucio compared to Widow.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
you don't need that precision input a lot of the time, which is a lot harder.
You said it
I also
perfectly.
think
Thank
they
you.
played. They also played really well in the pugs as well. And not really a sync, but like kind of a sync, half a sync. I think it makes a
Yeah,
lot of sense for the isopods to pick him up specifically.
and it does allow Flambeau to play that flex support as well, because I know a lot of the time, he's a lower SR player on the support, so he's usually put on that main support. Um, but he's been playing a lot of flex support, especially like that Baptiste and um, stuff like that. I coached him a couple times as well because he was on a BPL team. Honestly, he was like is somewhere there. It was no, oh no, it was what replaced Trank? You remember what it's called? Anyone in chat? I know the team name is Bees Nuts or B whatever, and it
Uh,
had like a B as the mascot. SPCS. Thank you, Flambeau. As well is for like a pre-made team for SPCS. So yeah, I'm happy to be able to see that he might be able to flex support a little bit. So we'll see though.
I also think because Flambeau was on my 66 team, and I think I didn't put him on Baptiste as much as I wish I had, but when I did put him on it, he was staying on it. Honestly, like he saved my ass so many times with lamps. Yeah, I hope he lets himself play Baptiste because I think he's actually really good at it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're still waiting.
I think I'm looking at the people who are still available. I mean, there's still some higher SR, and then there's still some middle ones. I think a lot of the time here you're gonna see people getting their fifth right, where they get their consistent comp, and so that's why you still see people like yourself, Topaz, or Hera. Nesquix is still on the board. Teddy M, Whalefish, Raz, Dong, like a whole bunch of people like that are still available, and I could see them trying to get them now or next round.
I also think Cat can kind of be the support or DPS player here, and they decide what Buku wants to play.
Yep.
Pick number 46, the South Korea Kittens 2 Meow Never are going to pick up Razmataz on the support. So we'd find kind of, I think that probably solidifies now Guku as the DPS player, the pair of along with Chloe.
Yeah.
And all around just a pretty solid flat team. Having Nort as a tank, kind of just, I know that Nort kind of always goes in and out of tank to other roles, but I think now being on this team maybe it kind of solidifies his role as a tank player specifically, so it can maybe get more experience in scrim and stuff on that role rather than kind of make the one map a series kind of thing. So
I mean, last season he played for the Floppers full time on tank, and at least I was able to notice that, like I was saying in the MVP write up, that he just improved so much as well, especially with his communication syncing up. And yeah, that DPS line is definitely scary. It's got a lot of knowledge about the game with Chloe and Guku on it.
Guku on the Junkrat, baby.
I think Raz.
The Glunku.
Yeah. Go ahead, Topaz.
I also think Raz is a super solid player too. Obviously she's very good at the Ana, but she's another player where I think she's below her SR cap, or a better player than she is on the sheet, especially on the Ana. So if they can have some sort of like Winston dive, I don't know what Nort plays, but some sort of Winston dive, and Raz can just, I know she can hit her shots and just keep her team alive and allow Visson and Guku and Nort to just absolutely destroy the opponent's team.
Mm-hmm.
The pick number 47 in the Overwatch Clash Season 7 draft, the Baja Blasters are going to pick up Mommy Issues on the support. A low SR support rookie. So, again,
Coming from, they're friends with Frosty.
Friends with Frosty? Well, that means that they're that means they're a goat then. That means they're actually like a Match player in disguise. If they're anything like Frosty.
Yeah. So I mean, I know little to nothing about this player, but like you're saying, I'm good pals with Frosty, and yeah, I could see them being good if they play together. They play more comp actually than Frosty, which is really funny as well.
At pick number 48, the Swagasaurus squad is going to pick up Dong Waggler on the DPS. And RiddleDog, I believe this is a new guinea pigs reunion for you two. That was a team, correct, that we played on together?
It is.
All right, so yeah, bringing that back here. I know that Dong Waggler more known for the, I guess, the quote unquote silly heroes, you know, the May, the Farah, Echo, stuff like that. So sure, we did have another pick already coming in, but what your initial thoughts on Dong Waggler being picked here for your Swagasaurus squad?
I know at least because Tabor, a roommate of mine, had the Dongers, who he's captain of, and he got Dong Waggler there because, you know, the meme. And I'd always hear that it's like Dong has one of the best maze in this league.
Oh yeah,
because of it, and it's just crazy. Like able to play a lot of that, like CPS. I've seen a lot of is Farah, a lot of that May, and stuff like that. So I'm happy to be able to play with them again because I had fun on the guinea pigs with them. So yeah.
That being said, pick number 49, the Moon Baboons finally back on the clock. Feels like it's been a while, but they're going to pick up Tedium on the DPS. And a bit of a reunion there for
Tedium.
Neptune and Tedium from the Schnabel tier last season. So I think Tedium, probably one of the more valuable players on this draft, especially at the ability to play both the DPS and support at such a high level. So I think a great pick there for Neptune. The fact that Tedium fell that low is sort of criminal, but benefits Baboons there quite heavily.
Yeah, I think Teddy's actually going to be a pretty good value pick, especially for falling this late overall. I feel like he's just going to be able to work pretty well with the team lineup they currently have as Tsunemi and Charbotron, especially Tsunemi and Teddy on DPS, and probably maybe even see Neptune tank. Could be a little scary, I'm not going to lie to you.
At this point, Neptune's probably putting himself on, like, unless he has like a lower tank in mind and he also plays whatever supports that.
Yeah, he could also pick up, like you're saying, like a better support and then have a sync tank. That's definitely an option. Or even, no, I guess that wouldn't make sense. Or, I mean, a sync DPS potentially. That's kind of weird, but technically you could do that too.
Well, if you have Neptune in your team, do you really need a DPS, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He just doesn't have damage on whatever role he's playing to really negate that. So now, waiting for a Smiley and Stilly Geese here at pick number 50. The big old 5-0 is finally being crossed here. And, you know, looking at the team so far, got Saikana themselves, got Akua, Killjoy, and Cray. So probably lean towards the support here. Again, let's see Akua on Lucio, which I certainly hope we're not for the sake of the Silly Geese. What do you guys?
It's value I score.
Yeah, what are you guys thinking here for the pick here? Maybe a support or lean another direction.
One more time, please. Again, which team?
For the Silly Geese. They got Killjoy, Tank, Cray on the DPS, Akua Flex, and Sekana on support. So do you lean another support here, or do you put Akua on support, pick a DPS? You know, what are you guys looking at the remaining draft players, remaining available board?
It's Sekana's a main support, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry to cut you off, Joey, but I would pick up a Flex support. I think that's important. I guess you could always run Akua on it, but I think a Flex support is what I would pick up.
I think it's going to be pretty interesting, especially with the remaining of the draft. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 21 players left on the board here. There's a potential where you could just get one of each, a DPS and a support player, and just have Randy kind of fill whichever spot is kind of like needed. We just have another player as the fill themselves, possibly.
What would you pick up first, though?
Probably the support, if I'm going to have to go with one of them. To go with it, because you could always just put Randy on the DPS and have him prioritize on that.
I think the fact that Randy is a
Killjoy
flex is really helping this team out a lot, honestly. Like, the ability to put him on whatever, kind of how the draft falls is definitely big. Oh, there we go.
And I mean, Killjoy can play the other two roles as well, too, so they have a lot of options.
And at pick number 50, the Smiley and Silly Geese pick up Mutta Freaker J. Unfortunately, I don't know if we can say the real name on stream here going forward, but yeah.
Don't worry, it'll have it on the stream right
yeah,
here.
Mutta Freaka Jade is up on the board at 50. That support player we're talking about, so that probably solidifies Randy over on to that DPS. most time at least. I know that Jade, I believe, is that flex support player you're talking about. I think Ana was their main. So yeah, honestly,
I think so.
a great pick for them. Solidifies everybody's
Th-
roles.
This is another. This is another player that also played really well in the Pugs too, and it impressed me. I don't know about other people, but um, I think like I said, flex support just makes sense. But I think she's a great pick. I really like the idea of having a consistent flex support player, and it looks like that's I mean, I would assume that's who is going to be their mainstay flex support player. So good pickup.
Yeah, now we're waiting for Sonic to come in and pick his next diamond player. Looks like he is typing, but yeah, I'm excited to see. Maybe not as excited to cast Motherfreaka Jade, but we'll find a workaround. Maybe we can work on some.
You can just say Jade.
Nope.
Just say Jade.
I got to show the respect of giving them at least they have a 3-syllable name. Gotta show them some respect. Can't just say Jade. That's lame. Motherfreaka.
MFJ.
MFJ Airport. Anyway, Empanadas, we do see him typing, so looking for it. And this has to be a support, right? Like, there's no supports on this team currently in terms of main role or draft role. But I don't know. Maybe could throw things off. I really knows.
Oh, I still have to update the draft sheet itself on the.
I saw trades chat light up, got excited, but it's BBQ trade
I
pick
know.
number 65 to BBQ for pick number 65. So
Yeah. And Flambeau's trying to pawn off pick 69 because it's funny.
yeah, we'll see how that works out for him. Still.
And we got a picture of a comp from the isopods that they can run, where it's ASD Tank, Flambeau, Yak, DPS, Rusty, and Snowspot support.
It's a very good team.
And that is 3450.
It's a very good team.
Yeah, that won't be very fun to play against.
There's a lot. There's several pretty good teams, I would say. Like the Basement Dwellers, I think that War's team is pretty good. Flambeau's team is pretty good. Like, I know this is a lower SR cap season, but a lot of these teams are pretty scary, in my opinion.
And there's also not really a team that stands out for, being behind the pack. I think most of the teams all look very competitive. So,
yeah. Or that far ahead. Like, maybe you can make a case for some of them, but I think you have to make a case for them. It's not an obvious decision, in my opinion.
Right. Speaking of way behind, Sonic still thinking about his team pick here.
There can't be that many diamond players left, though.
It appears the captains are too busy joking and looking for trades chat about pick number 69 to focus on the actual draft. So
Oh, interesting.
we'll give them time to work out that.
I am very curious still about, like, I said it earlier, but those lower rated tanks, who's going to pick them up? I think Neptune will be one of them. But after that, I think it's really difficult to say who would.
Would the Empanadas probably take another
reasonably
tank
do
here
it.
so they can move Ari on support for a couple of maps, right? Because
Yeah,
you can pick
true.
Ari for tank, but
Mm.
still have that really good support player hidden there. So maybe you take a tank here to have another comp look. Potentially will. Let's wait and see. I did see him typing for a moment, but stopped typing. Okay, there we go.
Oh my, there it is. There it is.
Oh my lord.
Oh my gosh, this is hype.
And at pick number 51, the Empanadas are going to take Paradox DPS.
Another
Another DPS.
player,
Let's go. Yeah, Paradox.
Is he doing this just for the meme?
This has to
at
be, it
point?
has to be just for the meme.
It has
I'm
to
guessing
be.
Paradox will probably be playing the support mostly for his team, but it's a really good, main support player to pair up. So this means probably Sonic going to be more on the flex support look, because I know Paradox really good at the Lucio, the Mercy, the Brig. I haven't seen much of the flex support. Maybe they have it in them, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see.
And the Swagasaurus squad, pick number 52, we're going to pick up Rue Lupinus on the support. get another body in there to work with on the support line. So 3 solid support players here for Panini to draft. And able to build a lot of different looks, potentially a double flex look, double main support, who really knows. But as well as Rue having the 3250 on the DPS, very flexible player.
Mhm.
And now we're... Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I remember looking at Rue before the draft, and Rue has climbed so much this season. What was Rue last season? Let me see. Give me 3 seconds. One. At least in comp, they were like diamond at some point a couple of seasons ago, and they're like, it was funny because it was more a joke that they're comparing like the pretend stats with Neptune, and Rue was just beating Neptune in all the pretend stats on support. It was all just fun, and like a super high win rate. So happy to see it.
All right, we do have pick number 53 in here as well, so we'll go ahead and do that. At pick number 53, the Squeeze Fish are going to pick up Transflex here. This is actually higher than Transflex usually goes in the draft. I think coming off the championship last season for the Selena Sloters had a really good showing on that team in all the games they played. So I think honestly a good solid pickup here for Fish. A nice value to kind of finish off that DPS or support line here. We got Fish, Shoreline Pie, Frosty, Tanic Bee, Transflect. So I think a solid starting 5 there for him.
Yeah.
So technically a flex player, so you could pick up another support still if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Let's see. I know at least me and Panini were looking at Transflect because I mean it's only 100 SR under Wiggle from 3050 to 2950 on support, but we're able to use it a lot, and I'm happy to see Fish captaining a team that isn't just a whole bunch of BPL Kizuna people. You still see Frosty and Transflect like that.
I agree. At pick number 54, the Colombian Coyotes are going to pick up Nuttier on support. Nuttier falling to pick number 54 is very interesting. I never thought I'd see that. Very, very low for very high value, I believe, on that main support. So I think this would allow Corey to play like a him on DPS kind of look map as well, put Nuttier on support. So I think pretty good pickup there for Corey. Thoughts on Nuttier going the way of Colombia?
I mean, I think this is the exact reason why I signed up for DPS instead of support. Like, I think having a 3,500 and up main support is just a huge investment. So obviously he's a great player, but it's hard, especially in a snake draft, it's hard to justify it. But at the same time, like, he's a really good player, so it shouldn't be an issue at all, especially with the rest of the team. I think they should be completely fine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every other season before, he's been super high on support. And recently he's been playing a lot of like Life Weaver and stuff, which isn't the best in the best state right now in the meta. So I think he's been losing most of the time on support. His DPS is higher than his support, I think, right now. But I feel like him at 3.5 is definitely value. So,
and I mean him at 3.5 and also getting him at pick 54. That's like might as well say the best player available, right? Because you have your starting 5 basically set, and now just kind of take somebody else. I think with EJ on DPS as well, they can run Corey Nuttier support line, which it's a pretty good support line.
I mean, I'm imagining the lineup right now. It's Booney on Reinhardt, Sky on, I don't know what Sky play.
Sojourn, Cassidy.
Sojourn. I'm thinking of the other Sky that we had. And then like you have EJ playing like I don't know any Brawl Hero, Reaper, Reaper, EJ Reaper guy, Corey Bab, Nuttier Lucio. That's like kind of a crazy comp.
And yeah, Tom has let us know in Twitch chat that the Overwatch team just needed some more scrims and it would have worked out. So
I think so. It'll work this time.
Yeah, now we're waiting for the WYND. Things kind of slowed down once again, but I think probably the next round probably is going to just speed run through it. We're still waiting for two
Yeah.
teams to get, or three teams actually, to get their starting five. WYND is waiting patiently in the rafters here for his fifth player to show up.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
this
kind of
fifth
in
player in
cahoots
the
with
room
my
with you?
captain. This fifth player is maybe being DM'd about.
Interesting. Speaking of fifth player, the Hatsune Frikus have picked up Bucket for support at number 55, or on DPS,
DPS.
because Ox doesn't know how to type, so
True.
it's going to be DPS here. But I mean, Bucket has the option to play both DPS and support at 3000 level. Bucket not liking the pick, not liking going the Hatsune Frikus in chat,
Yeah.
losing his mind.
The anime team.
The anime team. Time to get freaky. Season's over before it started. Yeah. Yep. Again, Ox building that very just flat team all around and looking like a solid contender here. Of course, whenever you have Ox on the tank, it's always going to be winnable. Guys, if Jared Goff goes for 4 more yards, I get $200. Anyway, continue.
Let's go.
Oh, let's go.
What is it? I think out of all the rookies here that signed up, I think my favorite name's got to be Bucket.
Bucket is pretty good.
It's just like it.
I mean,
It's just like simple
Mudda
and straight to the
Freaking
point.
J is pretty good. Mommy Issues up there. Yeah, I mean, Bucket just kind of goes straight to the point.
I think so.
It's not trying to pretend
It's
something
like-
it's not.
It's like what happened last season was that I just kept looking at a player because I liked the name, so I just like got him in my mind. That's why I put Shoreline Pie. I'm like, that's a really good name. And I also looked into him. And I'm like, that person's actually pretty good. So then I'm like, if I was a captain, I'd be definitely looking at Bucket just because the name. Coleslaw, it's not bad. I just like Bucket more personally.
That's
Well, why
fair.
is there an H in coleslaw? I need to know that actually.
It's
Oh,
coleslaw. Slaw.
I got some hidden info for trying to burn time.
Yeah, we're trying to burn some time.
Yeah.
So let us know about this coleslaw fella.
Well, yeah, he is my brother. His name previously was Colossal, but he my brother's like a junk player, right? And he's like mods for some of the few like champ or like not champ, but GM Junkrat players. And I think the one their name was what was it? Send a message, Ben. Who is it? who made you change your
Doesn't
name?
even know.
Because it was like a ginger Junkrat player who didn't Sophie, thank you. Sophie just didn't say Colossal and just only called him Coleslaw, and he was like his moderator for Sophie, and then he just like
I was
changed his
named by a
name.
dyslexic ginger twink named Sophie.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that's the story. Yeah. Oh, he was called that for 3 weeks straight. So he's just like, you know, might as well roll with it. Just like me with Who's Yapping North Dakota. I just
Yeah.
kind of roll with it.
I'm so glad you changed your name.
Yeah, my new legal name, guys, is no longer Joey. It's Who's Yapping, and my last name is North Dakota.
Who's yapping? Middle name North, last name Dakota.
Yeah. Yep.
At pick number 56, the Moon Baboons have selected Strudel, which the fact that Strudel fell at 56 as well is pretty criminal. It's a really good pick here for Moon, or for the Moon Baboons for Neptune. But as much as I want to say, we are officially entering nub territory, and boy, that gets me so excited.
Fire it up like a volcano!
That's how I'm feeling right
Oh,
now. Looking at
God.
the nub. Nub online.
I think
Nub is my
I know.
favorite.
I think I might know who's getting picked here, guys.
It's gonna be Coleslaw. Coleslaw.
You never know. Now, there is one thing I want to talk about while we're waiting for a second. Is with how the teams are kind of laid out already. I think our last GM player who's not been picked is Moon. Kind of wondering where he's gonna slot in here as a 6th player.
I think potentially the Izanagis could pick him up and have him swap with Mardox.
Swap
I
with
know that's kinda
Mardox?
weird,
Yeah.
but
or
so
or the
funny.
Yeah.
or the Blahaj with Silvertels, you know, kind of just
yeah.
whatever team has a high GM support can just kind of flip in and out.
Like that's the most obvious. There might be some like crazy way that you could put players on flexes, but like I think that makes the most amount of sense. And I also think I mean, I don't know Silvertals and Mardox as much as Moon, obviously, but Moon is more of like a bloodthirsty support. Um,
Mm.
if you have a different support player that's more like focused on
Supportive.
healing and keeping their team, yeah, then that might be a good choice just to like affect the play style. I mean, if you're high GM, you can play all the supports. It doesn't matter, right? So maybe play style is what you care more about.
Oh, nub pick.
I'll pick.
And at pick nub, Luxembourg Landsharks are going to pick up Spinal on the DPS. So I know you finally got your DPS player there with WYND.
Let's go! I'm so happy that this was the player I was in cahoots with Jack about. So I think he calced it. The SR is literally perfect. 3450. So
3450 on the dot. Love to see it. And now back here, the Baboons on the clock at 58. Appears that already typing, so maybe gonna start speeding through these last final picks here. Every team now has their starting five, and no team really stands out to me as like I'm going to destroy the league kind of look, but neither team stands to me like these teams are really gonna struggle here with roles and or communication or anything like that. So I think honestly the way we're looking at this is the captains have done a really good job of, at least on paper, building really competitive rosters.
Mm-hmm.
We do have next pick in here as well. At pick number 56, the Baboons are going to pick up Odin on the tank. So
this is 58.
Oh,
Fire is he just copy pasted.
All right, yeah. So 58 is going to be Odin for the tank, and that again probably just gives Neptune another look for his team where he can swap to potentially support or DPS, put Odin on that tank. Or maybe Odin starting, maybe we'll put Neptune on a roll and have Odin just play full time. Getting a diamond tank this low in the draft reminds me of somebody else who potentially might have been in this call last season. So honestly, good look for the Baboons there. Got their full roster finally created.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about WYND, just so you know.
The first captain that actually is just checking out. That's their whole roster.
Yep. And
Neptune/Fire, because he was drafted from, is done.
Now, remember, guys, if the Baboons do win this season, this is the most Mickey Mouse ring of all time. He literally drafted this team from Disneyland, so this is the Mickey Mouse ring if we've seen one.
It is while getting food too, if I'm correct, right?
Oh my!
I could see it.
I think when he was in the call out earlier, leaks for people who weren't here. I think he was outside of a restaurant.
So yes, please refer to Baboons by the real name of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. With that being said, pick number 59 is in the Hostage Freakus are going to pick up Big Brain on the supports. Another just kind of tool for Poi to work with for that flexible team that they got currently constructed. And I
mean, how can they lose? He's so smart. He's got such a big brain.
Yeah,
right. Why wouldn't you want him?
You need the Big Brain on your team because Poi can't type more than 2 words, so can't follow the simple format. What's going on in the draft chat?
Yeah, and Poi is out of there as well.
He's gonna go get some food.
What would be the roster that they'd run? So Poi tank, Wordy
Pneumonia. Wordy Pneumonia
took. I could see it, and then Bucket maybe swapping with like Wordy, something like that, or Pneumonia or whatever. At least just like without doing any calculations of anything. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
So, Booney, now that your team is up next, who are you hoping to get for this last pick?
I don't have the sheet open.
You have Moon, Krilt, Para, Nest, Wix. I think it's still Nor,
I know that Corey liked Para in the pre-draft as well as Topaz. Those are 2 people that he looked out for, so I would not be surprised to get either of those. I would probably say, Willfish as well, still being there at pick 60. It's a lot of value. Yeah, well,
I'd actually love to be on that team. It'd be kind of funny though, because me and EJ are doing like the exact same thing. We're both main supports that are playing DPS, so that would be kind of weird.
And I think that's kind of what Corey wants though, because he can just play everybody else in the same spot and just swap you 2 out. Like I think that's So we'll see how Corey decides to opt in. He is typing in chat, so we're still waiting to see. And while we're waiting, since we're kind of running out of things to talk about in Overwatch, 4th and 2 8:24 left in the fourth quarter. Washington up 34-20 in Detroit. Lapeers are going for it here at their own 12-yard line, 4th and 2, trying to get to a 3-score game here. Jay McDaniels is going to be in the shotgun. Austin Eckler to his right. He's not going to shot. Pressure up the middle, and it's going to be caught at the 5-yard line, going forward, rumbling and tumbling down to the 2. Terry McLaurin down to the 2-yard line, and Washington might just seal the deal here in Detroit. Huge play, ice in the veins from the rookie quarterback. And more time drained off the clock as Washington continues to push forward the pressure, just not in time. Up the middle from Detroit. Terry McLaurin on the slant, getting free in that zone. And it's looking drier for the Detroit Lowlands. Haha. Anyway, Corey picked a team.
So, he did. He did pick his last player.
We picked number 58, the Colombian College Select Whalefish for the DPS. And yeah, I think the same kind of argument can be made between Nuttier and Whalefish, where it's like, if this player falls down this low, you kind of have to take him, you know? As much as I would love to experiment with the Topaz Genji a little bit. Yeah, no, the fact that we got...
say that, but I don't think you actually would want that.
Well, I don't know. Could have been fun. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. As now we're on to pick number 61 with the Swedish Fish. Ready on for the next pick. We did have some people in chat though react to me hyping up the NFL game, so maybe I'll have to go into that while we're waiting. Oh, in the meantime, Washington just scored a touchdown. It's now 45-28 with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Lowlands have officially just collapsed on a national stage. No playoff wins in their franchise best year, by the way. LOL XD, have fun losing both the coordinators. Pick 61 is in. Fish, for the Swedish Fish, are going to pick up Spartan Seneca on the support. So Spartan now knows where his loyalties lie. And we're
he is a candy.
Yeah, cool beans.
He's a little Swedish
Streamers
fish.
are baiting engagement by pirating the NFL, unfortunately. Oh, God.
Spoken by our PMA Peter Award winner.
Yeah. Oh, looked pretty good when they were able to show up on the Sillas last season. So, excited to see what they're able to do on the Swedish Fish.
And now, I mean, are you in the DMs with this pick here as well, Wind, or are you letting Jack off the leash here?
Nope. I'm pretty sure I know who it is, guys.
Coleslaw.
Maybe. No leaks. We'll have to see until I mean, technically I think everybody here knows because I DM'd our Topaz person here.
No. Dude, how can I not get rid of you? Why am I always on your team? This is crazy.
What? Draft is not picked, man. What are you talking about?
I guess I don't know.
Coleslaw. With pick number 62, it is going to be the Electric Lion Sharks taking up Topaz on the flex.
That would have been actually
Whoa,
hilarious.
what a shocker.
Yeah.
Topaz, what?
That is crazy that we're on the same team again. I'm excited though.
Oh.
Are you excited to play with the Genji? We'll play
I'm scared.
Play Reaper Zarya stuff. I'm better than Foster on Reaper, so
yeah, surely, yeah.
Guys, holy cow, Topaz going in for the Blade, 1v5.
Yeah.
It's gonna be just like the Mankato land when we were watching the losers finals where no Blade kills were gotten and everybody was cheering for 0 kills.
Agree with that one. Now Sonic up on the board here, looking for his 5th DPS, probably.
Coleslaw.
I think I actually know who Coleslaw is going to, guys.
Do you actually know who Coleslaw is going to?
I'm 90%, 99 even.
Ooh.
Do I leak? What if the other captains try to jump?
Yeah, what if someone steals? I don't know.
Exactly, I can't leak it.
I think if
I can tell you one thing. I don't think he's last pick.
Let's go. Shadow gift with shotgun. Now, can check out my parlay here. Oh my God, we're 6 yards away from $200. Please, Jared Goof, please. Anyway, still waiting. We could pirate the NFL again if we want to. I don't really know. We're still.
Ooh.
Sonic is still waiting to
We
pick.
could talk about this Topaz guy. Hey, Topaz, what are your thoughts on being on the Land Sharks team?
I don't know. I kind of like the name, so I'm happy with that. I got to figure out my name. And I'm gonna change mine too.
Oh, you're so right, guys. Everybody here, make sure you
yeah.
change your name so it fits with your team.
Yeah, you could be SHRK. That's probably what I would do.
Oh,
for
that
you.
would be fire. Hold on. I think that's my name for this season, guys.
Cody's with a 1. That's all I can really do.
Yeah.
Come on, Goff. Damn it, he's in the dirt. Come on. My child's college fund's riding on you. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Pick number 63, the Empana Empanas are going to take etc. on the DPS. An actual DPS player, I think, for this team, but...
Let's go.
Yeah, this team, looking at the Empanas, it's very interesting. Especially now looking at Ari is playing tank, you know? Not something I thought I'd see this season, but Sonic might be cooking a little bit. Who really knows? Yeah, the 5 DPS running the league.
Surely there isn't role lock, right?
Yeah, guys, we're playing Marvel Rivals, right?
We're playing Marvel Rivals, guys. No, if only that was the Land Sharks team, it'd make more sense, no?
Not true.
Who
are the other players left then? Sorry to cut you off.
You got supports, we got Aura. All right, that goes hard, Ari. I'll concede.
That does. Hard. 6 last players. I know Moon is one of them. Coleslaw is one of them.
Oh, we have
Onshore Rook,
Biggie Stretch, Nest Quicks, Brill, Bananas, and Para.
And with that last drive, that's a solid $200 going right in my account. I love sports betting. I love gambling.
I feel like we'll have to see what happens with like how all the teams pan out. But honestly, like someone like Neptune that picked up Arbitron really early, that might be huge. It's like it would suck if one of these teams has to play a lower SR cap. I don't know. There's just a chance that happens now, so that's interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Seikana decides to do. I already say BBQ typing for his.
He is locked.
Pick.
He's ready. He's ready. He's ready to gun it.
For 65. Who do I think Panini's going to try to get after BQ?
Coleslaw.
Yup.
Yup. Coleslaw 3050. I mean, I could possibly see it.
I'm not gonna lie. I've played with him several times now. He's actually kind of cracked at junk. It's insane. So I genuinely do not think he's the worst person to pick up. I really don't. Like junk one trip. That's funny, but he's kind of cracked at it.
No shade at all the Coleslaw. We're having a good time on the desk. No shade to the.
No, yeah, no, but still, forget about emotions and everything. Like, it might be an interesting decision, like to play control maps, maybe, or just like tighter maps. And I also don't think he's that bad at other characters either. I think he's better than he thinks he is. So if he's willing to play other characters, that could be a good idea.
I think his DPS hero pool. Is it enforced? Whatever you put on your hero pool, you can't play other than?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Unless you specifically write in your note, I am only going to play Junkrat no matter what.
Okay. So I know he also opted for a Cassidy, and I think Venture.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy to see some of these people that drop like Nest Quicks, especially because it's just like a 3-6 DPS player, which is sort of like that middling SR, but everyone just sort of built around SR wise, like other things, or like if there's another 3-6 DPS, they can base swapped in. right? But there's definitely still good players left.
And probably
So-
teams that have that 3-6 SR DPS will pick them up.
Exactly.
Like I feel like it's gonna be a lot of duplicates now.
Yeah, should be. Let's see who's 3-6. I don't care about that. It's the same. Yak is 3650 on DPS. Same with Tanic B. Well, Fish is already done drafting, but
Is Yak playing DPS though? Like technically they were drafted for tank. So.
sure.
But I don't think that's true.
I think Yak's
I
playing
don't
DPS.
believe that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't actually believe it.
There we go. There's the pick from Seikana.
Oops, give me a minute to scroll down.
Where's the noise?
Give me a minute to scroll down.
Oh,
Oh, Nitro. Nitro makes you have to scroll down. For me, it's at the top. So
Where's my dopamine?
yeah, there we go.
There it is.
Smiling to the geese pick up Bananas Flex at pick number 64. And also want more dopamine. At pick number 65,
yeah.
the Color Hall Basin Doors pick up
No way.
Next Quicks for DPS.
yeah.
And Panini's already telling for his next pick, so your dopamine receptors might be ready to go. There it is at pick number 66. Swagosaurus Squad pick up Para for Flex. So 3 quick right back to back.
Yep. Bananas. I don't know anything about bananas. Where did bananas come from? Snowspot, Big Brain. Yeah, I mean, 3350 tank main role. So
Yeah, I would agree that getting a Para at 66 is very good for your team as well.
yeah,
Yeah, Bananas, the rookie coming in, could be Big Brain, could be huge, but Big Brain is already on their team. But
Actually,
true.
that might be good for their team because they have so many flexes. It might work pretty well actually to have bananas in.
Yeah,
that might be like
Mm-hmm.
the Akua DPS look or the Akua support look. Who really knows?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Nesquix, like I was just saying, it's another 3-6. What's Foos DPS at? Anyone off?
3-6, I think.
35.
Oh, there you go.
Who's 35?
Close, close. It's
50.
close enough.
Oh, twice? Oh, 3.
Oh my
that's a
god!
big
Oh
one.
my god!
5.
At pick 67, the Baja Blasters pick up Coleslaw Flex.
Yeah.
Both
Congratulations.
hearts pumping.
My brother, you're not last pick. I told you.
Wow,
Perfect.
wow.
There we go.
Let's go.
I heard it go more than one. I thought we had everybody pick their characters all done, but no, it's just the one big
No, I
one.
was just too excited.
You know,
Third to last? No, this was Ruben's pick,
Yeah,
right?
that was Ruben's
Yes.
pick.
That's
fifth to
fifth to last, not third.
There is a world, I don't know about SRs specifically, but there is a world where Coleslaw always plays and he just swaps between DPS and support. I would kind
Yeah,
of love
starter.
I think the
Yeah.
benefit of him though is depending on what map you're going into, if it's good for junk or not, you can kind of just choose.
that. Yeah.
You can kind of play him
I-
if you lose a map, and you just pick a map that's favorable to your team and the junk.
Mm-hmm.
And like honestly, we're gonna be able to like counter that, I guess. Like obviously you can counter Junkrat, but it's gonna be difficult if the map selection is correct.
I think what's going to be interesting is if teams do choose to opt to hard counter the 30-50 Junkrat. if they really choose to, I think the rest of Ruben's team will run down everybody else personally.
That's true.
If it was like 40-50 and there's like more SR invested into it, I think I guess you could opt to like mainly hard counter their higher SR, but I don't think there's a world where it's going to be common occurrence for him to be hard countered
Yeah.
permanently.
Guys, I want every
But I
gun
feel
you have
like
to
most
fire
of
on that
maps
man right
are-
there. Yes, that diamond jump player right there. Go him with hammers.
Get him, jump in! Rah!
Okay, so who's
Guy-
left then?
Moon,
Um,
onshore rook.
I'd help, but Biggie Stretch,
And there's one more.
Biggie Stretch,
Oh, it's Krill.
Krill.
It's Krill.
Krill.
Because I was thinking about that earlier.
3750 Lucio player,
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's a similar thing with Nunier, where it's like you don't want to drop that much into a main support, but he was another player that was in the Pugs that was just running it down in crazy value.
In
So
a good way.
yeah,
Not running the
in the
game
best
down.
way.
Not running the game
Um,
down.
yeah, not like that. Yeah, it's weird that there's so many good players left.
Oh.
Oh,
At pick number 68, the Kittens are going to select Onshore
It's
Rook as
Coleslaw.
tank. Coleslaw again!
yeah.
And at pick number 69, Isopods are going to take Krilp on the support.
Mhm.
Guys, I think I can guess which teams are getting the last two.
I would have lost my mind if your brother was a 69th pick.
Huh?
If your brother, if
Oh.
Coleslaw was a 69th pick, I would have lost my shit.
Oh, is Nave confirming
Yeah,
that Krilp actually plays with a Nintendo Power Glove?
He does.
Oh
I
my
have
gosh.
seen pictures. I can link it in Overwatch General if people would like to see.
Well, if that's the case, should have gone like
Yes.
#1 overall. The Power Glove is the glove of the gamer.
It is truly. My personal thoughts is we're gonna have Biggie Stretch go for War's team, and then for the last pick is Moon to swap out with Mardox is like the only reasonable thing I can see.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean, you could swap out Moon for Silver. I don't know if the SR works though. I guess.
the highest SR versus lowest SR left from the draft. This is
Is it actually? That's kind of funny.
Yeah, other than AST.
Coleslaw saying in the chat, Ruben's gonna permabench him. No, he will not. That's why we love
He physically
mandatory
cannot.
playtime. Woo!
I feel like
Wow.
War's deciding if he wants to pick up, if he wants to swap himself out or not. Because I think it would
I
make sense
think
to
so.
just swap him out for Biggie Stretch. Yeah.
But I don't think War likes to do that.
yeah. War's trying to build a team where he doesn't
Yeah,
swap
exactly.
himself out. So this might be the Moon pick here to swap out with Silvertals.
Yeah.
If the SR
But also,
allows
like,
it.
yeah, and like I know I was saying the thing earlier about the swapping out the Flex supports, but you don't want to swap out your highest rated player. I feel like that's not something that you want to do. You want to build around them. So
Moon can't
I don't know.
swap with Silvertals, he says
Well,
in chat.
then I think I know where we're
Oh.
going.
And
here.
yeah, I think I know the answer.
let me put Moon DPS.
Yeah, potentially.
3550.
That's true.
There's a world.
With
He
like
just-
Void Fiber.
I mean, he
3.
signed up support, but you just can't play support due to restrictions of SR.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a team comp that War could run with Moon on support.
Wait, what's War's SR? On
2350.
support. Oh, okay.
War is. Let's see. Yeah, 2350. So
Yeah.
50 higher than Biggie Stretch.
Well, it's all War's choice, no?
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't know why
it's-
it's taking so long. There's only 2 people left.
Speaking of War, he wants an interview,
Yeah, if he wants an interview, he has to pick his character, his player first.
or you pull him in here and he announces it live. Up to you guys.
Yeah. That is the last draft pick in a
Oh,
way.
he's
so-
Second to last,
I mean, but like it's the last choice, right?
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I want to stop the stream pretty quick after we're done here. I'm hungry.
That's fair enough. It's been 2 hours, so.
I haven't eaten dinner
Yeah.
yet.
Not as long as 4 hours.
Not as
so we
long
You know
as
who
the
has
actions.
eaten dinner? You know who has eaten dinner? Neptune, out here in Disneyland.
Oh,
And at pick 70,
He did
we're
it.
going to get Biggie Stretch. And that means that with pick 71, once it gets typed, I guess I don't want to prematurely announce it's going to be Moon at pick number 71.
I think that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Is Jared Goff
Picking
the
up
worst to
Biggie
ever
Stretch,
do it?
like-
Yeah, maybe. Jared Goof might be in full effect here. Yeah, there we go. All 71 players are on their teams, and we are ready to go for season 7. Riddle, I know that the divisions haven't
Mhm.
been made yet, correct? We're kind of waiting for teams to build to make some narratives
Correct.
and stuff, so the divisions aren't quite
Yeah,
set
I mean-
yet. But is the schedule set though? Because that would really affect divisions, right?
So I was planning to do the divisions, but I got caught up with stuff today. So I'm probably gonna be doing it right after this. So then I can get the schedule finalized for week 1. and for the rest of the season. So, I mean, at least right now, because week 1 technically is supposed to start from the 27th of January to 2nd of February. So we still have a lot of time with stuff anyways. Obviously, people can play stuff beforehand, but, yeah. So, I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to try to get it done after this, probably.
Cool. Yeah, I guess unless anybody has some closing thoughts, I'm sure the PR team will be working overnight to get you what they believe is the top team and that will lose out in week 1.
Top team, honestly, got to go with the Blasters with Coleslaw. No,
It's tough to say.
Maybe.
am
Now.
I wrong? Maybe. You never know.
Oh,
We might see.
I genuinely want to know what your guys' opinions are, and not to drag it out too much, but
We'll go ahead. We'll go down the call here as who you think are the top 2 teams. So RiddleDog, you'll start. Who are your top 2?
I'm at the top.
Yeah, I'm the host. I ain't gotta talk.
He gets a choice.
Let's see. I feel like I could see the Silly Geese being pretty good. Killjoy, what's 3950 on support, and a lot lower on tank, so I could see them being value, and with Akua, Cray, who's ranked up a lot, I could see them being good. I can really see anyone being good, I think. At least, like, I haven't looked at any rosters or anything, like,
No.
with the lineups.
Sadly, you can't say
but-
Silly Geese and everyone else. That's not top 2, man. Unfortunately.
I'm figuring out. I think it has to be maybe isopods. They do have that lineup where they can run AST on tank. Flambo did tell me he's gonna run AST at DPS like 90% of the time. But I still feel like that the fact that the option is still there, like they got Yak so late, which is absolutely crazy, and Krope 3750 last round. So I could see them being up there. So I'd, right now, maybe do Silly Geese Isopod.
Topaz.
Yeah, I definitely also like Silly Geese and Isopods, so I won't choose those 2, and I won't choose myself. I guess Kittens and Basement Dwellers. I think those five teams that I just said are the most interesting. But I guess like for the Kittens, I think that like obviously Nissen is an incredible player, and I think that Cat Raz backline is actually really good. And then their other 3 players I think are great as well. And then Basement Dwellers, like I mean, I would think good things about almost every single one of their players. So I don't know why I wouldn't think that they're one of the best teams coming out of this draft.
WYND.
I'm kind of. You never know. Sonic over here might be a three-time grand final appearance. No. That's kind of what I'm leaning to. Maybe with some empanadas doing some crazy stuff. And then the other team I'm kind of looking at as well. I do have to go with the Silly Geese as second. Just having Randy on there as well and Killjoy on the tank. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Booney?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go Isopods. I like that lineup that they have. Rusty, very flexible. Flambo Jambo, DPS, but AC design is a big difference maker. And even though I don't like truly believe it on paper, I'm thinking the Empanadas will be at least top 2 because Sonic Ronic is the GOAT captain and somehow makes these teams work that shouldn't. So I think that could be top 2, but then if I had to make a different guess, because I mean, yeah, I could say Basement Dwellers, they're a very good team, but I think honestly the Swagosaurus could be pretty good as well with Fancy on tank. Never count him out. So those would be mine. I'll go different. I'll go Swagosaurus and Isopods. Yeah, cool. With that being said, we've all given our opinions. We've seen the draft. And now we are ready for some Overwatch action to begin. Riddle, when is week 1 supposed to take place? It's this week, right? 21st through the 28th?
It's the 27th. It's the 27th.
Okay, so there is a week
because we want the
here.
games scheduled by the end of the 23rd, if possible. So week 1's supposed to take place from the 27th to the February 2nd, or you can just play any time before that. You're completely free to do that.
Yeah, so we should be getting here pretty soon, and hopefully the website will be updated as well with all the teams, all the logos. Momentarily, still waiting a couple logos to get done. Then once that's done, then we'll look to update the website. So We thank you all for tuning in as well. I thank my amazing desk mates over here. I thank RiddleDog for putting the back end work on the server. Topaz and WYND, of course, joining me for the commentary analysis. And yeah, honestly, just thank everybody so much for tuning in, for watching. We had a great showing here in the Twitch chat, and we hope to see you guys for Season 7 action really kicks off here in the next couple weeks. So stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of the evening, everybody.